northbound after Clark Street. Accident there is clear. Outer Drive westbound remains closed. Now between Chalmers and Newport Street, that area has been shut down for quite some time. Avoid Outer Drive now westbound between Chalmers and Newport. New disabled vehicle reported along 75 northbound at 94, blocking that right lane. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. By the end of the week, there will be no more snow on the ground, gradual warm up each day. When we get to Thanksgiving, we'll be in the 40s, upper 40s, almost 50. Clouds and sun mixed today, a high of 41 tonight, some clouds, overnight low 26. Still cold out there. Clear skies, 28 degrees. Dana Clark, WJR traffic and weather first.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
You hear the phrase a lot this time of year, happy holidays. But holidays are not always happy, particularly for guys grappling with a divorce that they didn't choose. These men need more than the help of a good lawyer. They need the hope and encouragement of a good friend.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor.
Need a great holiday gift for that special someone? Shop on Untucked's Black Friday early access and grab the perfect style at up to 50% off. Untucked shirts are designed to be worn untucked. They keep him looking sharp and feeling comfortable. Save big on our iconic button-downs, super soft flannels, and cozy sweaters during our biggest sale of the year. Shop Untucked's Black Friday early access sale today for up to 50% off at untucked.com or 80-plus stores. Untucked, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Yellowstone, television's #1 show, is back on Paramount Network.
I, John Dutton, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the state of Montana against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Featuring an all-star cast led by Academy Award winner Kevin Costner.
The invasion is over.
They will fight you dirty.
Is there any other way?
As the Dutton family fights to protect their legacy, they'll learn power has a price.
Signing this is a declaration of war.
We're already at war.
Yellowstone. New episodes Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on Paramount Network.
You are just in time for one of the most successful charity events in Michigan to help feed the food insecure. It's WJR and the Chalani Family Foundation's 9th annual Hunger Free in the D. On All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz and Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. This is your opportunity to help. Every dollar goes to Gleaners Community Food Bank and the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. Just $1 provides 6 nutritious meals to a Detroit area child in need. Call 855-315-FOOD to donate. That's 855-315-3663. Or do it online at hungerfreeinthed.com. Now from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, here are Chris and Tom.
So busy here. Nice to have you here. Hunger Free in the D 2022. It is the 9th annual edition. Hard to believe it's been so many years. Presented by the Chalani Family Foundation, benefiting Gleaners Community Food Bank and Capuchin Soup Kitchen. We are live, as you just heard, from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion for the Hunger Free in the D Radiothon. We are going to be having a very busy morning, next 3 hours, talking at length about this and some of the great sponsors of this wonderful event. Chris Renwick joining me on this. Good morning, Chris.
How was Thomas,
your
hey.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Good. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Weekend was busy. We are my family.
You have a young family.
We are in the holiday spirit,
are you?
As they would say.
So you went up to Frankenmuth.
We went up to Frankenmuth. We did a little shopping in the mall. We did the Bronner's thing yesterday. So yeah, we're rocking and rolling. We're getting ready for Christmas.
Did you see the little chapel up there? It's a replica of where they apparently wrote the song "Silent Night." Have you been to that up in Frankenmuth?
So I have been there. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was amazed by it. So there's this little tiny chapel. It's a replica, but they brought it over from, I don't know, Germany.
Yeah.
Deutschland, I guess is where they brought it from. And that's where they wrote the little ditty that we all sing this time of year.
Ditty.
Yeah. It's the number one requested song at the club I go to. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, it was a jam-packed weekend. A lot happened over the weekend. And one of those was a very tragic event in Colorado. There's the nightclub shooting in Colorado, very tragic. 5 people were killed, more than 20 people injured after this guy, a 22-year-old, his name is Anderson Lee Aldrich. This guy had been arrested, by the way, for a previous attack about a year ago where he threatened his mother. They arrested this guy, took him into custody over the weekend. And here's the thing, that the people, listen, there were a lot of people shot. There were 5 people who were killed. There were about 22 or so who were injured. People in the club itself. There are 2 people who attacked him, the shooter. One of the guys grabbed the shooter's gun, hit him in the head with it, and they injured him enough to where they can subdue him and wait till police arrive. So think about that. 5 people already killed. What could have happened if they did not get this guy to the ground? Apparently he had an AR-15 as well.
Yeah, it's a true act of heroism.
Yeah.
When you're staring down a situation that comes out of the blue, obviously you're there to have a good time, and things take a nasty turn. The quick reactions of people like that is you saved a lot of people that night.
Saved a lot of lives. They don't know a motive yet. This was a gay nightclub, so some are speculating that maybe this was an attack against the LGBTQ community. Police have not released that information yet.
Yeah, they're staying pretty tight-lipped on this suspect because they're not releasing a lot about his criminal history, if there is any. We understand that maybe he was the guy that threatened his mother with the bomb, but they're not even confirming that either. So
they're not.
There's a lot of questions still that remain unanswered.
There's a guy with the exact same name, the exact same age,
same birthday,
has same photograph, I think, as who apparently threatened to blow up his mom's house and shoot her, apparently. So if that's the case, we're just speculating. If it is, why was he still allowed to keep his weapons? They do have red flag laws in Colorado, right?
Sure
so they could have done something about this a long time ago. So one of the stories we're following and we're going to talk about is Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
Yeah. What do you think of this? They've unbanned Donald Trump from that social media platform. Remember, he was banned for life.
Yeah.
Is what the board at Twitter had said after January 6th. As a result of the riots at the U.S. Capitol, they tied it to Donald Trump and said, you are never coming back on this platform. He's not back yet because he hasn't decided if he wants to. He's got True Social right now. That's it. But he could come back if he wanted to. And Elon Musk.
His account's active. You can go look at it.
I did not. Is it up?
It's up.
Has he tweeted yet?
He has not.
Yeah. So he could if he wanted to, but is he going to? He's kind of like, listen, I got all this invested in True Social now.
He has said that he will not, even if he were to get reinstated, he would not actively participate in Twitter anymore. Look, to me, it's really a non-story because I look at it as, let's suspend all reason and thought. Let's just go on the assumption that Donald Trump is responsible for inciting the riot on January 6th.
Okay.
And he used Twitter as a platform to reach his base and whatever. He has Truth Social, as you just mentioned.
Right.
Where I would imagine a huge portion of his base went over with him.
Yes.
So if he wanted to communicate with his base, he has a platform in which to do that. Just because he's back on Twitter, again, he hasn't participated yet. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't have an opportunity to communicate with people. You just aren't happy that he's back. You're the one who's upset that he's back.
Right.
It really doesn't have much of an impact on anyone.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you get a lot of celebrities over the weekend came out and said, I'm gone. I'm not going back on Twitter. Jack White came out,
God bless.
Detroit's own. He said, listen, I am off Twitter. So is my record label. And he used some language that we will not repeat here on WJR because we're not allowed to. No, should we?
Yeah.
But anyway, he said, listen, this was a blankety-blank move by Elon Musk because you're allowing a so-called fascist to come on a Twitter. He's not a fascist. Actually, the whole idea of limiting speech is more of a fascist type move. So if anything, he's almost an anti-fascist. But you might not like Donald Trump. You might not like what he says. But he's the guy that is opposed to centralized government. He wants smaller government, all those types of things. So
does your day change? Is your day drastically different now
No.
that Donald Trump is back? No.
Well, some
it's
people it
course
is though.
not.
But if you live in that world,
That's crazy.
some people do though. It's
crazy.
like you can walk around. You can walk around my house, and there are some people there who are like living their lives on
There
their
are
phone.
people in your house?
There are people in my house
good.
right now
Okay, good.
who look at their phone for hours on end.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get them off. No, they're good now.
Yeah.
But that's just the reality. A lot of people do live their lives on social media and whatnot. Anyway, so that's some of the things we are covering here. And also Gary Peters, he's been hailed a hero for saving the Democratic Party in the U.S. Senate.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, how about that? What do you think? Is he a hero?
Of course he's a hero.
Yes.
Of course.
Yep. Well, they say he directly saved the race in Pennsylvania. His efforts and whatnot. John Fetterman maybe would not have survived this race if not for Gary Peters.
Oh, look, I think it was an all hands on deck approach for
It
the
was.
Democrats, right? I mean, I think everybody was contributing. Gary Peters certainly, I think, gained a little more clout after he won re-election
Among the Democratic Party.
Amongst the Democratic Party, yes.
Right.
So I would imagine he played some role in that. Sure.
Yeah. All right. Listen, we're going to be, I think, taking text today as well from you. We'd love to hear from you. 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. Up next, we are going to speak with Tom Chilani. He is the founder of the Chilani Family Foundation, and Dario Bergamo, the CEO of the Global Group. They started feeding the hungry with Thanksgiving turkeys, and look what it has developed into today. Welcome to the program. We'll be right back after this. 760 WJR.
Now WJR Health Watch. Here's Dick Hafner.
A trailblazer in the field of electrophysiology, electrical problems of the heart, is taking his cutting-edge approach to help patients who suffer from heart failure. Dr. Arif Badshaw, a cardiologist in Bloomfield Hills, is one of the few doctors who can implant the Impulse Dynamics device in a minimally invasive procedure.
Gets implanted just like a pacemaker with 2 wires in the heart. It makes the heart beat stronger.
Dr. Badshaw reports an advancement in one of his previous innovations to eliminate blood clots from breaking off and causing strokes in patients with atrial fibrillation.
We have newer technology available for AFib, and hopefully in the future use special ultrasound waves to destroy the part of the heart that causes the AFib. We have the ability to help improve the squeeze of the heart, help people with heart failure through small devices that are just similar to pacemakers. So overall, there is a lot of technology, not only in diagnosing this problem, but also in keeping these problems at bay and giving people a very normal life.
His approach has attracted other physicians who have come to him to learn the new procedures. Dr. Arif Badshaw can be reached at 248-333-1170, 248-333-1170. He's already looking toward the next breakthroughs.
There is some very interesting technology coming out which will help treat AFibs, just building up to the launch of that technology.
I'm Dick Hafner for WJR Health Watch.
Hey, this is Jim Harper. Are you trying to buy or lease a vehicle? Then you know the story. There's no inventory, and some dealerships are charging more for what they do have, and some won't even accept your employee pricing plan. That's why you need the Gordon Chevrolet way. Get your vehicle quickly. Gordon will let you tag one of over 500 vehicles they've already pre-ordered or custom build one. The customer always comes first. Gordon Chevrolet always honors employee pricing plans, so you get the lowest price possible and you don't have to worry about your current lease. At Gordon, they are experts in early lease turn-ins that can give you cash back or lease extensions that can help you avoid penalties and match the delivery date of your new vehicle. Gordon Chevrolet, voted best of the best by the Detroit Free Press. The Chevrolet product lineup is red hot right now, so join the crowd and shop the Gordon Chevrolet way at Gordon Chevrolet on the money-saving end of Ford Road, just west of Merriman, in Garden City. It's worth the drive. Gordon Chevrolet, find new roads.
Rising conductor Jonathan Hayward joins the Detroit Symphony Orchestra for one of Dvorak's most popular symphonies, the lively and folk song inspired by 8th Symphony. Yeolum Son performs Mendelssohn's spellbinding work for piano and orchestra on the program with a new work by Pulitzer Prize-winning Tanya Leon. Tickets at 313-576-5111 or at dso.org. December 9th through the 11th, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra performs Dvorak and Mendelssohn at Orchestra Hall. The Construction Association of Michigan, CAM, has been helping contractors and suppliers grow since 1885.
Hi, this is Josh Barney, Vice President of JJ Barney Construction and CAM's current Chairman of the Board of Directors. I encourage all contractors to join CAM and take advantage of the association's many resources. Expand your opportunities and become a member of the largest network of contractors in the state of Michigan. If you're a construction company looking to grow, join CAM today. I look forward to working with you.
The Construction Association of Michigan, one industry, one resource, one CAM. Join today at buildwithcam.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped to you at prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 45% off any order during Blindster's Black Friday sale. Hurry, sale ends November 27th. Blindster.com.
Disabled vehicle 75 northbound at 94, blocking the right lane. Outer Drive traveling westbound between Chalmers and Newport Street to shut down there. That multi-vehicle crash at least has the eastbound direction open, but westbound is still shut down. 94 westbound at Connor, accident just reported off to the right shoulder. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel.
Not quite as cold out here today as we were yesterday, but very windy. Strong, gusty, mainly south to southwest winds out there today. Sunshine mixing in with the clouds, high 42. Clouds increasing tonight, mid-20s. Early clouds tomorrow, afternoon sun, less wind, mid-40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chilani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
And a good crowd here as well. Welcome back to the program. You know, today is Monday. Thanksgiving is just 3 days away, and we all often think about, a nice warm feast, a lavish dinner with family and friends. We know, though, that there is a significant portion of our population right now who do not view Thanksgiving in such glowing terms. It is not warm. It is cold. And there's no such feast because, frankly, hunger and food insecurity, as they call it, is a much more common reality than most of us realize. So our next guest, Chris, both of them got involved a long time ago with feeding the hungry, and Thanksgiving was a big part of it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And look, until there aren't hungry people out there, it's why we need the Tom Chalanis, the Dario Bergamos of the world, because they're the ones that are really spearheading this. And Tom Chilani, the founder of the Chilani Foundation, along with his wife, Vicky, and, of course, Dario Bergamo with the Globale Group here with us. Fellas, it's nice to see you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us on.
Great to see you guys.
I got to say that obviously what you're doing is it's a blessing to just a thousands of people. And what I'm most amazed with is how this has evolved and the giving nature in which has changed over the years. This started as just giving out turkeys around Thanksgiving, but this has expanded into a much more needed venture for you both.
Well, our families have always been on the same page as we like to give back to the community, whether it's volunteering or maybe able to write a check. 9 years ago when Dario and I got started on this is because we heard about a fire station in Detroit that ran out of turkeys, and there was a lot of people that were disappointed that were in line that day. And we said, we got to do something. We didn't realize how big of a problem this was until we got engaged with Gleaners and the Capuchins. And here we are 9 years later, over $4 million raised, and it goes to that great cause. I think we've put a platform together where people are very comfortable with us in giving, and they know where the money's going. Because a gentleman earlier today came in here and wrote a check for $2,500, heard us on the radio earlier. Those are the kind of things that makes me feel good about what we're doing.
Yeah, I got involved. I remember years ago on a Thanksgiving, the first time I did this, helping feed people who are hungry. I had never thought about that as a young boy growing up and a young man. And then when you see it face to face, it hits you in the face. So is that what happened to you guys, Tom and Dario? Dario, when you first got involved at the firehouse, you're like, did you realize at that point, the need that was out there.
Tom actually called me, says, "Hey, are you watching, Channel 2, you're watching Fox?" And I said, "Yeah, the parade was going on." He says, "You got to watch what's happening here, and a lot of needy people are missing Thanksgiving meals. We got to get engaged." So our hearts were in the right place, and we were going to actually purchase 10,000 turkeys, and we called Butterball Turkey, to be honest with you. And the guy at Butterball said, "Hey, you guys sound like great guys, but how are you going to distribute the turkeys?" And we hadn't thought about that. So that's when Tom suggested, let's get engaged and talk with Gleaners. And, he contacted Jerry, and, the rest is kind of history. And, our families were big with the Capuchins, and we grew up down there. My father's house is still standing at Meldrum and Kirchhoff, 2 houses away. My father made all his sacraments. Tom's family was big with the Capuchins back in those days. And, when our parents were growing up in the 30s and 40s, my parents went to Eastern High School, which is now Martin Luther King. So just all right down the street.
Yeah, wonderful.
HungerFreeInTheD.com is the place where you can still give. 855-315-FOOD. That's 855-315-FOOD if you want to give that way as well. But I think, look, we're obviously coming out of difficult times with the pandemic, and we've reached the other side, and unfortunately the need is still there. And you've talked about the Capuchins, you've talked about Gleaners. How important is that partnership for Hunger Free in the D and for what you are trying to do in the communities?
Well, that partnership really works because Gleaners, is a food pantry. They distribute food southeastern Michigan. Very easy for them to understand where the needs are any given week or day. When you look at the Capuchins, they have 2 kitchens that they serve people with. And I want to make a point there. We go down and volunteer our time. And I know people are maybe a little apprehensive to go down there. You wouldn't believe how appreciative the people are that are receiving the food and how they make you feel that you're a part of the community. Thank you for your help. I mean, people need to donate their time and get engaged in these different charities because it really does make you feel good and people do appreciate it.
Well, that's it. When you see it, like we said earlier, face to face, what are some of the stories that really stick out to both of you when you think about when you're giving, you're seeing them eat a meal that they couldn't otherwise afford?
I mean, I'd go down with the family, even my father, when he was still living. We'd go down to the soup kitchen at Kirchhoff and by Meldrum, right by the monastery, or by St. Bonaventure. And we'd work the day after Christmas. I mean, nobody wants to come the day after Christmas on December 26th. We'd go in there. Tom and I'd give sweaters for the guys and things. And you sit there and like Tom said, everybody's so appreciative. You're right in there. But to meet the folks that have those insecurities firsthand and be down there and volunteering your time. I mean, we're taking our board down on December 14th down to Gleaners to volunteer, from 1 till 3:30.
At the board of the Globali Group.
The board from the Chilani Foundation.
Oh, the Chilani Foundation. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So our guys that participate with us with Cars and Cigars, and as well as teams today at Bocce. So those things really stick out in my mind, and it's almost like politics. You gotta put your differences aside for this. Cross the aisle because you're helping your community. I don't care what your political beliefs are or your religious beliefs. This is about helping friends, neighbors, people in the community, and giving them a little bit of a lift.
Yeah. We have so often called on our listeners, and time again, they step up. This is an incredibly giving community. Obviously, you both know that well. What is the message, though, to people? Because economically, tough times, we've plowed that field before. But in the reality of the world, there are still people that need our help. And what is the message to those? I mean, you can go down the list. $1 feeds 6 meals, and 1 in 6 people in Wayne County hungry. 1 in 3 kids in Wayne County hungry. I mean, those numbers are shocking. And so what is your message to people?
My message is don't think the other person's going to do it, so my $5 doesn't mean anything. We need everybody to step up with $1, $5, $10 to get us to our goal today. But a lot of people sit back and go, I'm not going to take the time and I'm not going to write the check. I'm sure somebody else, they're going to hit their number.
Sure.
That's not the case. In this time and with so many people in need right now, we really need to go past the match and be able to take care of. This is just Thanksgiving. This goes on every day in this community. So this is just a point in time that we're helping out. We need to do it all year long.
Yeah, and the reminder is that every dollar raised, 100% of your donations goes directly to Gleaners or the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. You can donate now at hungerfreeinthed.com. Very easy. Just go on the website. There's still time to give. hungerfreeinthed.com or call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-FOOD. I was stunned by some of these statistics. They're just numbers, but these are all represent individuals. That about 11% of the employed adults earning a minimum wage are hungry. Those are people out there working. So it's not
Real
like people are,
right.
and they got a job. They'd like to earn more money, but they can't. And cost of living is going up. So they've kind of maxed out what they are able to do in and of themselves. And that's where you guys step in.
Yeah, we try to play that bridge, right? We understand people that have jobs are in need also. And more than ever this year, with the economy the way it is and inflation the way it is, people's paychecks have not matched up with inflation, and they fall behind.
Right.
We had a big check come in today. Again, it goes to the match, and any dollar helps. Any little bit helps. It helps
Absolutely.
so much.
Yeah.
No, we need to do all the little things we need to do to get to the match.
And you two have done a lot of little things. So we
Yeah.
appreciate your time as always. Tom Celani, founder of the Celani Family Foundation in Dario Bergamo. Thank you guys so much.
God
Appreciate
bless
it.
you both. Thank
Yeah,
you.
God
Thank
bless
you guys for all you do.
A lot more to come here on 760 WJR.
Terry Gilbert, owner of Second Story Collection, somehow you figured out how to become a custom framing, printing, and apparel one-stop shop for big and small businesses. Scalable.
Absolutely, Paul. We're very scalable. So whether it's a small business that's just looking for some corporate apparel, jackets, shirts, polos for their employees, or whether it's a large corporation that needs 4,000 polo shirts for a giveaway, regardless of what it is, we're very scalable.
And how do you coordinate making sure that all of these diverse needs get the second story detail that the client expects?
Really by listening to the customer. I mean, each customer, whether they're a small business or a large corporation, has very unique and specific needs. And again, building those relationships with the customers, listening to what they're looking for, and putting together a product or a program that fits their needs is what we specialize in.
Second Story Collection in Ferndale. Stop in or call. See why so many choose Second Story for their apparel and printing needs. Call 248-607-3595. That's 248-607-3595.
I'm Ann Thomas. Congratulations to the 2022 Women Who Lead class. Dawn Eisen, U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan, has great career advice.
No matter the challenge, you are not defined by your circumstance. I stand on the shoulders of all those who came before me, who were qualified to be in this position, and so I will leave a legacy for those who will follow me as well.
To learn more about Dawn Eisen, go to WJR.com. Special thanks to General Motors in Lear for supporting Women Who Lead.
Steve Courtney here with my good friends at Livonia-based Bill Brown Ford. Oh, Nelly! Pigskin is back in the great state of Michigan as our professional, college, and high school football teams get back to business. Bill Brown Ford, America's #1 Ford dealer, has the hardest working team in the Motor City. Visit BillBrownFord.com today to place your 2023 order. Bill Brown, serving the needs of Michiganders for well over 100 years.
#1 Ford dealer is based on Ford's new Total Retailer Report for 2021.
I'm Chris Foster. The motive for a shooting at a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs is still unknown, according to investigators. At least 5 people are killed, at least 25 injured. The gunman stopped by customers before police arrived.
If they hadn't, who knows? He could have busted through the door and killed us.
Joshua Thurman says he was at Club Q celebrating his birthday and hid in a dressing room. Disney fires CEO Bob Chapek and pulls the man he replaced out of retirement.
The 71-year-old says he's thrilled to be asked to return and extremely optimistic about the company's future. During his 15 years at the helm, Disney absorbed Pixar, Lucasfilms, and launched Disney Plus. Disney shares, which had fallen 40% this year, rallying on the news.
Fox's Lillian Wu. President Biden has approved federal aid to western New York. More than 6 feet of snow fell in some places there. The emergency declaration authorizes the federal coordination of disaster relief efforts. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
Roadways are not looking too bad. Disabled vehicle is clear in Detroit 75 northbound at 94. 94 westbound at Connor. Watch for an accident blocking of the right shoulder. Outer drive traveling westbound between Chalmers and Newport. Shut down there. Avoid that area. Police remain on the scene. Accident just reported along the right shoulder of 94 westbound at Michigan Avenue. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. A very cold start this morning, but by the end of the week, temps rebounding each day into the upper 40s. Windy conditions today, some clouds, some sun, a high of 41 tonight, cloudy, low 26. Sun and clouds mixed on Tuesday and a high of 44. Cloudy skies, 28 degrees. Dana Clark, WJR traffic and weather first.
All right, the world's biggest soccer tournament is back today. And FanDuel wants you to get in on the action when America takes the pitch. They take on Wales at 2 o'clock. And look, when you bet Team USA in group play, all customers, everybody are getting free bets back if you don't win. All tournament long. FanDuel's got you covered with all the bet types, including some that are exclusive to soccer as well. And look, I love betting on FanDuel Sportsbook, but this is going to be a lot of fun. First time we're betting on World Cup play. And look, this is the time to get involved. And unlike any other sport, or like any other sport, I suppose, you can combine your bets for a chance at a much bigger payday with the same game parlay. However you want to bet it, make sure to back the red, white, and blue because everybody are getting free bets back if Team USA doesn't win. Sign up today, promo code Renwick. That way you make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
21 and older and present in Michigan. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Maximum free bet ranging from $5 to $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-952-1155. That's 800-952-1155. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're looking for a new or used vehicle, please think of the Gowling Automotive Group. Hi friends, Bill Gowling here, letting you know that we have special Black Friday sales events going on all November long at Gowling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, and Roseville, Gowling Alfa Romeo Fiat in Birmingham, Gowling Buick GMC in Lake Orion, Gowling Toyota in Warren, and Gowling Kia in Madison Heights. Plus, we have great service departments and body shops at our stores as well. So buy local and make sure you support the people of our community. Learn more online at Gowling.com.
With Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chilani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
It was a busy week last week, and so my reaction to this late Friday announcement, was it a reaction to Donald Trump running for president? U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland announcing on Friday, shortly after Trump's reelection bid became official, that the Department of Justice has appointed a special counsel to investigate Trump on a couple of fronts: the Mar-a-Lago storing of classified documents and the 2020 election denialism. The Attorney General is looking into that. He'd like to see Trump indicted. I mean, he thinks evidence shows there was an attempt, Chris, to obstruct the counting of the electoral votes and certifying them on January the 6th.
And would this special prosecutor have been called upon had Donald Trump not announced his candidacy for president of the United States. That's hopefully what we can clear up with our friend Matthew Schneider, partner at Hahnemann and former U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan. Matthew, always nice to talk with you. What did you make of this announcement from the AG's office? And then was it a direct response or a direct response to the former president announcing his candidacy once again?
Yes, I think it was, in fact, a direct response, and that was stated plainly by Merrick Garland. He said the reason why we're doing this is because I work for a person who's running for office, and he's being opposed by somebody else who's running for office, and that's why I'm appointing the special counsel, and that's exactly why he said he's doing it, is because Trump is running. And what we learned is, I think, pretty interesting, actually, because he talked about, as Tom laid out, these two areas here. One is the Mar-a-Lago classified docs, and the other thing is what was related to January 6th. But what really was kind of revealing was in the Mar-a-Lago discussion, Merrick Garland had said, this is a criminal investigation. And we already knew that. That's been stated. But he also said that the Justice Department is conducting an ongoing criminal investigation regarding January 6th, related to Donald Trump. And that really hasn't been stated so directly so far, but now all of those cards are all out on the table.
All right. So the DOJ, they say that they want to steer away from the perception of a conflict of interest with Trump now running for president, possibly against Merrick Garland's boss. So he brings in Jack Smith, as you just described. But Merrick Garland's, he's been the one who's actually been opening up these investigations into Donald Trump himself. As you just touched on. And it's now a very serious investigation into January 6th related to Donald Trump. So that claim to avoid a conflict, does it come across at all as being disingenuous?
Well, it's not. When you appoint a special counsel, that person is removed from the Justice Department, but yet that person still is in the Justice Department, right? So it's not like Merrick Garland can completely get out of this by appointing a special counsel. That person is not going to be supervised by the Justice Department on day-to-day things, and the person has the authority of the Justice Department to act and can charge whatever case he believes is appropriate. But ultimately, that special counsel still does report to the Justice Department. So I don't think it's a pure insulation for Merrick Garland.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General says Jack Smith has built the reputation as an impartial and determined prosecutor. Jack Smith was a former special prosecutor at The Hague, where he investigated crimes in Kosovo. He's going to be the man tasked with overseeing this investigation. What else do we know about Jack Smith?
Well, he's not widely known. He did have the Justice Department's public integrity section, which is the area that the Justice Department looks after political corruption cases. He's a former AUSA. He appears to be very highly regarded by a lot of people. I actually hadn't heard of him before, so I Googled his actual name. His actual name is John L. Smith. When you plug that in, it comes up with that football coach from Michigan State.
Yeah,
really well. Remember? Yeah, exactly. So, well, hopefully Jack Smith, maybe his performance in the courtroom might be a little bit better than John L. Smith's was at Michigan State.
Not the same guy, for sure. Do we know that?
Yeah.
Of these two cases, the Mar-a-Lago documents and then January 6th, which one, in your view, is more compromising for Donald Trump? Which has the greater chance of an indictment or even a conviction?
I think the Mar-a-Lago case is stronger, and that is something that the president has even talked about, that he has admitted the fact that those documents were found in his location in Mar-a-Lago. So the evidence is stronger there, and I think what the Justice Department will have to do is put forth a real case about knowledge. What did the president know? When did he know it? It's already been admitted that those documents were in the president's possession at the White House, and then they went to Mar-a-Lago, and his lawyers have been negotiating on this for many, many months on this topic. So that seems to be a little bit further along down the line and pretty straightforward in some respects, unlike the January 6th events, which is a little bit more amorphous and not as easy to show the president's knowledge.
Where are we at with both of these investigations? You touched on it a little bit there, but in terms of the timeline for both January 6th and Mar-a-Lago, where do investigators stand today?
So we don't know everything that they know because they, of course, haven't told us. But it seems like both of those are pretty fully developed, that they're down the road a bit. The Mar-a-Lago information is out in the public because that search warrant has been revealed and people know about it. So that one seems to be a little bit further down the line. But no matter what, either one of these, no matter how far they are, even if Donald Trump is charged, that's not going to stop him from running for president, because the Constitution sets forth what the parameters are for that. And the only limitations are you have to be 35 years old to be the president, you've got to be a natural born citizen, and you've got to be a U.S. Resident for 14 years. There's nowhere in the Constitution that it says if you've been charged with a crime that you can't run for office. And in fact, that has happened in American history several times, and the courts have upheld this. So the timing of all of that is not going to impact that presidential campaign.
Maybe unless it's insurrection, which they're trying to prove, but that's going to be a hard hill to climb, I think. Regarding the documents in Mar-a-Lago, the FBI seems to have concluded that Trump had no ill intent, that he wasn't planning any nefarious actions with the intelligence that were in these documents. Much of it, the FBI says, was simply a collection of his time in office, like mementos. Does that matter, do you think, in this?
Well, some of those documents under the law, you just can't possess them, whether you have an ill intent or not. The law says you cannot possess Defense Department materials or classified materials like that. Whether or not you intended to do something else or not is irrelevant. And that's why I think that case is a little easier. But as you did say, Tom, I think you're referring to the 14th Amendment about whether you're engaging in insurrection that can prevent you from taking office. That's true, but you'd need a finding of that, right? In order to find that President Trump engaged in that type of conduct, there'd either have to be some sort of jury trial or conviction or an impeachment process where you'd put that all out on the table as well.
Right. You can't just see something on Twitter and then run with it. You got to have some
Although
evidence.
some people do that.
I
That's not how it
know.
works.
I know. I've seen it almost daily. We appreciate your perspective on this. Matthew Snyder, partner at Hahnemann and former U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan. Matthew, great to talk with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. More to come here on 760 WJR.
Terry Gilbert, owner of Second Story Collection. Somehow you figured out how to become a custom framing, printing, and apparel one-stop shop for big and small businesses. Scalable.
Absolutely, Paul. We're very scalable. So whether it's a small business that's just looking for some corporate apparel, jackets, shirts, polos for their employees, or whether it's a large corporation that needs 4,000 polo shirts for a giveaway, regardless of what it is, we're very scalable.
And how do you coordinate making sure that all of these diverse needs get the second story detail that the client expects?
Really by listening to the customer. I mean, each customer, whether they're a small business or a large corporation, has very unique and specific needs. And again, building those relationships with the customers, listening to what they're looking for, and putting together a product or a program that fits their needs is what we specialize in.
Second Story Collection in Ferndale. Stop in or call. See why so many choose Second Story for their apparel and printing needs. Call 248-607-3595. That's 248-607-3595.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
You hear the phrase a lot this time of year, happy holidays. But holidays are not always happy, particularly for guys grappling with a divorce that they didn't choose. These men need more than the help of a good lawyer. They need the hope and encouragement of a good friend.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor.
Need a great holiday gift for that special someone? Shop Untucked's Black Friday early access and grab the perfect style at up to 50% off. Untucked shirts are designed to be worn untucked. They keep him looking sharp and feeling comfortable. Save big on our iconic button-downs, super soft flannels, and cozy sweaters during our biggest sale of the year. Shop Untucked's Black Friday early access sale today for up to 50% off at untucked.com or 80-plus stores. Untucked, shirts designed to be worn untucked.
Well, old man winter's just around the corner. Are you ready for the freezing temps, the slippery sidewalks, and my personal favorite, Michigan's car-sized potholes? Our friends at Hylant, that's Hylant, remind you to be prepared. Make sure your car is properly serviced. Get that battery checked and throw an emergency kit into the trunk in case you get stuck on the roads. If you haven't had the furnace serviced or the
chimney cleaned in a while, now's a good time. Test the generator if you have one, and get that snow blower and salt ready to keep people from getting hurt at your home or at your business. Every season presents risks for homeowners and businesses. Highland helps protect you from their financial consequences. Highland is one of the largest independently owned insurance brokerages in the U.S., and I know the Highland family personally. They're headquartered in Toledo, but have offices here in Metro Detroit, Southeast Michigan, and across the country. Call Highland to see how they can help you, and tell them Paul W. sent you.
Face it, life looks a little different. During these times, we're doing our best to keep our minds and bodies strong. And getting a flu shot helps us stay healthy, so we don't miss out on what matters, like having game night at home. Yeah, can't do that while sick with the flu. Now imagine family movie night that your daughter can't live without. Well, that's ruined. And don't forget your uncle's socially distanced cookout. See, that's why it's important to be at our strongest. Every year, millions of people in the U.S. get the flu. Especially now, no one has time to miss out on moments that matter. So get your flu shot. Find out more at getmyflushot.org. Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
WJR traffic and weather first.
94 westbound at Connor. Earlier accident is clear. Westbound 94 Michigan Avenue. Watch for a wreck blocking the right shoulder. Outer Drive westbound remains closed between Chalmers and Newport Street. Avoid the area closed due to an accident. 696 westbound. Slow ride between Evergreen and 96. The road reduced to just 2 lanes, a 4-minute delay. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Sponsored by the Holly Dickens Festival. Bring the whole family to the village of Holly this weekend for the 49th annual Holly Dickens Festival. Watch as they perform Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol on the main stage. Stroll the street, shop, and enjoy a meal. For more information, go to hollydickensfestival.org.
Quite windy out there today. Sunshine mixing in with the clouds. Gusty, mainly south to southwest winds, high 42. Increasing clouds tonight, mid-20s. Cloudy tomorrow, sunshine mixing in through the afternoon. Less wind, mid-40s. Sunny, upper 40s Wednesday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on Newstalk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chalani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit, that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
You know, hunger is always with us, but it is really complicated. I mean, the root causes that leads to people just not being able to have a meal. It could be a result of drug addiction, a sense of hopelessness, maybe tragedy in the family, or simply just persistent unemployment are just a few of the reasons. And that's why there is such a collaborative effort, I believe, Chris, to end hunger in southeastern Michigan. It's a very integral spoke in this collaboration wheel is the Capuchin Soup Kitchen, and the way that they actually operate.
Yeah, and I think that in order to do really good, meaningful work, you have to have a symbiotic relationship.
Yep.
You have to have the people and the community like our audience that is so willing to give. And then you also have to have the people that are boots on the ground that are really doing God's work. And certainly the Capuchin Soup Kitchen is a shining beacon of light as an example of that. Brother Gary Wagner is the executive director of the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. He joins us this morning. Brother Gary, it's nice to see you.
Chris, Tom, it is good to be here with you today, and great to be here with all the people who are listening and supporting us.
Our audience is very familiar with the Capuchins. Obviously, we've been involved with Hunger Free in the D for a long time. What is so special about your organization? Because you help so many people. You're feeding, you're doling out hundreds of meals a week to those who really need it. What makes the Capuchin so special?
Well, I think we've been here for a long time. Wish we hadn't have to be, but we opened our doors, I think, 4 days after the stock market crashed in 1929.
Wow.
And we've never closed them. And people know that they can come to us and we will find a way to give them a meal. And we have been doing that for 93 years. We need days like this are what help us to do that. Back in the day, somehow or other, someone would always show up with more food when the lines looked to be too long. Today, it's events like with the Chilani Foundation, it's the Family Foundation. It's these kinds of things that help us to make more sandwiches, provide more meals, help people in emergency situations.
You know, you get people who ask, why do you do this? And there's a real spiritual aspect to this. And, you know, Jesus talked about meeting the needs, the importance of meeting the real physical needs of people who are hungry. He fed the 5,000, right? And he said, if you feed someone who's hungry, you're actually serving him doing that. So what is this message? Is that the driving force that allows you to do what you do?
It is. As a Capuchin Franciscan, I always like to say St. Francis followed Jesus, Blessed Solanus followed St. Francis, and we're trying to follow in those footsteps as best we can. It's that is the motivation for what we do.
There is certainly an element of a financial element that's important to what you do, because you need that funding to help people.
Yes.
But there are so many ways people can help. And we talked to Tom Chilani and Dario Bergamo just a couple of minutes ago about just the volunteerism, the being on the ground with the community, because not only do you get a different sense of the needs of people, but you start to look people in the eye, you see them, and they're no different than anybody else. They just maybe are on some tough times and they need a little bit of help. But this is a very giving community, and a community that is, through thick and thin, a very tight one.
Absolutely. You know, we had a young man who went through our Jefferson House substance use disorder program. He had gotten himself involved with drugs and really fell off the map from family and friends, got himself back together, our 9-month program. And one of the things he talked about was, as a little boy, he came to our Connor kitchen with his grandmother as a volunteer. Then he was served by one of our programs, and I expect to see him as a volunteer again.
Absolutely. Give him back in the way that he's been served. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Because the Capuchin Soup Kitchen does a lot more than just provide, quote unquote, soup. You do look at some of the root causes as to why people find themselves in this situation, and one of them may be drug and alcohol abuse.
Yes. And that's where we have our Jefferson House program, takes guys, homeless men, and 9 months. That's like the Betty Ford Clinic level of care. So that even if someone relapses after they leave the program, 9 months gives them a lot of tools to still get back on track. And we see that does happen. We have our ROPE program, guys who have had substance use disorder or in some cases were incarcerated, not all. And they get skills baking in the bakehouse. Then that also provides for our On the Rise Cafe. We have a Rosa Parks Children and Youth program, hoping to break the cycle with the kids that come through that. So we're trying to intervene in the cycle of poverty while meeting the needs of people who are caught in it.
HungerFreeInTheD.com is the place for you to go online and give. HungerFreeInTheD.com. You can call 855-315-FOOD. That's 855-315-FOOD. This is obviously a very busy season. The holiday season is a busy one, and you're gearing up to distribute Thanksgiving meals, turkeys, food boxes to about 1,300 Detroit area homes. Talk about the undertaking that requires in order to reach the community like you do.
That's going on right now as we're speaking. Today and tomorrow, we're going to be distributing a lot to the folks who will be coming to our services center. We were very worried at one point. We weren't sure we were going to get all the turkeys.
There's a shortage.
There is a shortage. And, we can't just go down to the local grocery store and say we'd like 1,300 turkeys.
Right. It's a difficult ask.
It is.
Yeah.
But we were able to get them, and Gleaners is helpful in that.
Amazing. You partner with them. So do you need volunteers still for this week?
For Thanksgiving, we don't. I think we're more than full. This is one of the times of the year where sometimes with volunteers, I have to say, how about January?
Yeah, can you come back? We'll need you then.
It's a good spot to be in.
It is. It is. People really want to help.
Yeah.
Your food pantry, you provide food for a family of 4 for an entire week out of a month. That's a lot of food that's required. How often is that service requested? I mean, what's the real need out there?
It's growing.
Yeah.
Inflation, I say our guests at, say, our Meldrum Kitchen who are homeless, inflation doesn't really hit them directly. It does indirectly, but not directly. Families that come to our services center, they are hit by the inflation very directly. And so we are seeing those numbers. Our guest services workers, their appointment schedules are getting full every day. Brother Rob, one of our Capuchin friars, who's the director of the services center, when I stop by there to talk, he's always tells me, I only got a minute to talk to you.
He's busy.
He's very busy.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. Well, we appreciate the work that you are doing. You continue to do with the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. Brother Gary Wegner, thank you for your time.
God bless you.
Thank you, Chris, Tom. Thank you very much.
God bless you. And again, this continues right throughout the day here. We're going to tell you more how you can get involved throughout the program here on WJR. We're going to check with the Fox News. We will return right after that, 760 WJR.
Place an order for a 2023 Ford Explorer lease and receive $1,000 bonus cash. Plus, you can lock in your deal. And if at the time of delivery the deal gets better, you get the better deal. Returning AZ Plan lessees can order a 2023 Explorer and lease it for $339 a month for 24 months with $4,509 due at signing. Offer ends November 30th. See dealer for qualifications and complete details. Some exclusions may apply. So order a 2023 Explorer today from your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first.
Gary Morawski, President, Flame, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. Reaching out with a Christmas gift you can't pass up. Install a new high-efficiency heating and cooling system before November 30th. At no charge, Flame will supply and install a new 40-gallon water heater. Flame secures permits on all work performed. Flame has over 100 trucks to serve you 24/7, 365. One other thing, $2,500 in rebates on top of a free water heater. Flame also takes care of any plumbing, drain staking, or electrical needs. Backup generators are our specialty. Flame is our name, service is our game. I guarantee it.
Once again, 760 WJR presents Christmas on Us to celebrate our extraordinary Michigan military, first responders, frontline workers, and their families. WJR's Christmas on Us honors local service families and rewards them with gifts, spending cash, and more. Visit WJR.com to nominate a deserving military member, first responder, or frontline worker. WJR's Christmas on Us is brought to you in part by Motor City Floors and Coatings, Kearns Brothers, and Window World.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
A lot of grief in Colorado Springs. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. After the shooting spree at an LGBTQ bar Saturday night that left 5 people dead, at least 25 injured.
It was so scary. I heard shots, broken glass, bodies.
He hid from the shooter in a dressing room.
It was... How? Why?
Fox's Claudia Cones in Colorado Springs.
Police say 22-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich opened fire with a long rifle. As soon as he entered the bar, he was stopped by 2 patrons who were dancing one moment and rushed into action the next. According to the Associated Press, one of them grabbed his gun, hit him with it, and pinned him down until police arrived.
Well, the suspect was injured. Police are investigating it as a possible hate crime, also probing his arrest last year, accused of threatening his mother. In Idaho, still no suspect in the murder of 4 university students 8 days ago. Fox's Dan Springer's in Moscow.
Over the weekend, police started to fill in some of the gaps and answer some of the questions we've had from day one. We now know that 911 call came from one of the surviving roommates' cell phone, that the roommates in that house during this whole attack thought that their friends simply had passed out in those bedrooms. Also, there were other friends at the house when police arrived, but now investigators say they don't believe any of the people in the house had anything to do with murdering these 4 college
students.
The first of them will be laid to rest today. Ethan Chapin's funeral will be in Washington State, where he was from. NASA's new space capsule got within 80 miles of the moon this morning on a test mission for astronauts landing there again in the future.
The locations we're going to go to are going to really unlock a lot of the capabilities of the moon, the research on the moon, ability to go explore beyond the moon and the solar system onto Mars.
NASA Flight Director Zeb Scoville. President Biden has approved federal aid for western New York, which got snowed under the past several days. Some areas got almost 7 feet of snow. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped to you at prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 45% off any order during Blindster's Black Friday sale. Hurry, sale ends November 27th. Blindster.com.
Also sponsored by Cranbrook Institute of Science. Ignite your curiosity at Cranbrook Institute of Science. Stand beneath Sue the T-Rex and uncover the mysteries of this notorious predator at Cranbrook Institute of Science. A full-scale cast of the most complete T-Rex ever found is on display in Sue the T-Rex Experience, presented by PNC Bank now through April 30th, 2023. Visit science.cranbrook.edu. 94 westbound at Michigan Avenue, a wreck blocking the right shoulder. Outer Drive westbound remains closed between Chalmers and Newport, multi-vehicle crash. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Buying or leasing a vehicle today can be almost impossible unless you buy the Gordon Chevrolet way. Find what you want now, lock in your price. Voted best of the best by the Detroit Free Press, Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. Gordon Chevrolet, find new roads. Cold and windy this morning, clouds and sun mixed all day, a high of 41. Clouds tonight, overnight low 26. Sun and clouds once again on Tuesday and a high of 44. Cloudy skies, 30 degrees. Dana Clark, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
The holidays are here. Achieve gifting greatness when you give the gift of perfectly aged, tender, and delicious Omaha steaks. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have put together special curated gift packages to help take the guesswork out of gifting and make you a holiday hero. Go to omahasteaks.com and use code QUALITY at checkout to get $30 off your order. Send an assortment of mouth-watering favorites guaranteed to impress, like the legendary Butcher's Cut Filet Mignon, air-chilled boneless chicken, ultra juicy burgers, and even easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, so shop early and beat the shipping rush. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code QUALITY at checkout. Omaha Steaks is a gift from the heart, a gift that'll be remembered with every unforgettable bite. Order with complete confidence today, knowing you're ordering the very best. Visit omahasteaks.com, use promo code QUALITY at checkout to get that extra $30 off your order. Minimum order may be required.
You're just in time for one of the most successful charity events in Michigan to help feed the food insecure. It's WJR and the Chalani Family Foundation's 9th annual Hunger Free in the D. On All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, and Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. This is your opportunity to help. Every dollar goes to Gleaners Community Food Bank and the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. Just $1 provides 6 nutritious meals to a Detroit area child in need. Call 855-315-FOOD to donate. That's 855-315-3663. Or do it online at hungerfreeinthed.com. Now from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, here are Chris and Tom.
And we continue to take the donations throughout the program here. I'll talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, joined by Chris Renwick on this Monday morning. And, you know, there are a number of reasons why people face a prospect of going hungry or suddenly finding themselves living in poverty. The poverty level, if you didn't know, in Michigan is $24,000 a year of an income for a family of 4. And about a quarter of Michigan children live in such a situation, Chris. And sometimes the situation comes without warning. It could be a sudden crisis, like a flood. We've seen those here, of course, in Michigan, or a storm or a fire, or and somebody just suddenly loses everything they've ever had, is suddenly gone, and they don't have anything left. And on top of that, they're hungry. They have no food.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. And we talked a little bit about the symbiotic relationship between the Chilani Foundation and the Capuchins and Gleaners, and included in that are some sponsors that, again, get on board with this type of movement because it's incredibly needed. And Mark Davis, the co-founder and co-CEO of Signal Restoration Services and chairman and CEO of Puro Clean, is one of those businessmen in this community that are so willing to give. Mark, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes with us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
What is it about this event, about this giving mindset that the Chilani Family Foundation has graciously laid this foundation for? What was it that brought you into the fold?
First of all, whenever Tom Chilani or Dario or Chef Bobby, because they're always involved in something good for the community, whenever they ask my business partner Frank, Torrey, and I for help, the answer is yes. And then what would you like us to do? Meaning the answer is yes first. But when it comes to Hunger Free in the D, it hits a special chord in both of our hearts, Frank and myself, and our whole organizations. We help people after disasters, as you guys know. And we do everything we can. And then there's usually a point where, you have to draw the line. And so we always want to give back. And in this particular case, especially around Thanksgiving, when we're always finding a way to be thankful for the blessings that we have and to share those blessings with those less fortunate, there's no better way to do it than Hunger Free in the D and helping those families in the state of Michigan that honestly are unfortunately not able to do some of these things to take care of themselves and feed themselves. So for us, this is an easy ask. We would honestly do whatever, anytime Tom Chilani and Dario and Chef Bobby have something, whether it's, the Cars and Cigars event, which sponsors so many other charities in the state. But this one is the one that Frank and I is at the top of our list.
So a lot of people find themselves in a situation because of tragedy. And I'm of the opinion that the average person goes through maybe 5 different crises in his or her lifetime. And you can see it as we did recently down in Florida, where you're now operating with Signal Restoration Services, right? And Puro Clean as well. Both of your companies that restore people's lives are working in Florida, but we're not immune to that in Detroit. We just had historic flooding a year ago, and we had historic flooding a few years before that. Tragedy strikes, and when it does, people really genuinely need some help. So describe what it is that you do for a living. What are your companies?
Well, literally, this is Signal's 50th anniversary. So here in Michigan, Signal was founded in Detroit 50 years ago in 1972 to help people after disasters. Frank and I bought it 10 years ago. And for the first 40 years, Signal was focusing primarily on Michigan families because it was only residential. And it was after fires and floods. But when Frank and I bought it, we expanded Signal nationally. We bought companies in New York and California and Texas and Florida so that we could, and we also pivoted and started working for hospitals and schools as opposed to just residential. And then when we bought the Pure Clean franchise network, we were able to really expand our footprint because we had 200 locations when we started 7 years ago when we bought that company. And now we just hit 410 next year because we will have added 83 new offices this year.
Wow.
And we train them. Frank and I get involved because we've been doing this for a long time. And that's the greatest thing is training entrepreneurs how to be in business to help other people. And so you mentioned Fort Myers. We're in Fort Myers. We're in the Naples area, Fort Myers Beach, and we have been since the day after the storm, helping families get back into their homes and helping students get back into their schools and helping, patients get back into their hospitals.
I want to piggyback on something Tom said because there are certain crises that people can and most likely will face at some point in their lifetime. And no matter how maybe well off you are, no matter how established you are as a family, as a member of the community, as a business person, you really are one serious tragedy away from finding yourself in need. And you talk about just the way that your business operates, the foundation that you and Frank have laid to go into business, but still have that giving mindset. And I find that incredibly infectious. And I'm just curious to know if maybe some of the stories that you've seen of somebody or a family, maybe they're doing okay, but something happens and they're back to the foundation level.
Well, honestly, it's one of the things that when Frank, Torrey, and I first met 15 years ago that attracted each other to be in business together. because Frank has had that mindset before, but he was in the landscaping business. So he was spending most of his spare time on philanthropy, for the DMC and for RIM and for Boys Hope, Girls Hope.
Yeah.
And then to be able to then, when Frank and I decided to buy our first business together, Signal, it was, okay, that's the business of helping people. And we're getting paid for that. So since we're getting paid for helping people, we have an obligation.
Yeah.
We absolutely have an obligation to take the benefit that we have of profiting from helping people after disasters and giving back. And that's something that we do it every day. It's part of our culture. We encourage it in our own companies. When any of our employees has something that's near and dear to them, okay, it doesn't have to be something that just Frank and I come up with. Our Signal Cares program is for the whole organization. And someone can bring something to us and say, we've got something in Lake Orion, for example, or we've got something in Dearborn, whatever that community might be, is like, okay, what is it and how can we do it? And then Frank and I are happy to step up.
So Signal Cares, that's the philanthropic arm of Signal Restoration Services. So money flows into that. And then that money right now for this week, what you're doing right now is funneling some of that money into Hunger Free in the D.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. And that money goes to Gleaners and Capuchin Food Kitchen. So this is right up your alley.
Yes,
What a wonderful chain that you've created.
Well, thank you. It's something, it's a movement. You mentioned earlier movement before we started. That's what this is. It's not a fundraiser, okay, for Hunger Free in the D. It's a movement, and it's a movement that everyone can get involved in, regardless of the level of contribution.
It is every day. A movement is something that you're passionate about. So that's what this is. It was interesting that you talked about you're in the business of helping people. There's a demand, right? People need help. And now there's becoming a greater supply to meet that demand.
That's correct.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much. This is a really interesting conversation. We wish we can get more into it. Mark Davis is the co-founder and the co-CEO of Signal Restoration Services and the chairman and CEO of Curo Clean. Mark, great to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Hey, Tom, I think you could maybe get a little more out of Mark here. Sounds like you got him. Hook, line, and sinker.
Hook, line, and sinker. Thanks so much. Mark Davis. More to come at 760 WJR.
Now WJR Health Watch. Here's Dick Hafner.
A Bloomfield Hills cardiologist has become a trailblazer in treating the most important electrical device, the human heart.
There is definitely a lot happening in this field. The technology is getting better. The devices are getting smaller. It's important for patients to realize there are always options. And especially in this field, there is a lot more newer technology coming out than before.
Dr. Arif Badshaw is among the few doctors who can implant a small device on the left side of the heart to prevent blood clots caused by atrial fibrillation. He is one of the first to use a new such device called the Lariat.
The newer generation of these devices have evolved. The technology has gotten smoother. Patients are now able to get these devices and they don't need blood thinners afterwards. It's become a lot easier for these patients to go home the next day and be protected.
Dr. Badshaw says each device shows a success rate of more than 90%. And Dr. Badshaw is on the cutting edge of another advance of technology for patients with heart failure.
Gets implanted just like a pacemaker with two wires in the heart. It makes the heartbeat stronger, improves the ability to help patients with the shortness of breath, with their ability to have more oxygen go to the brain, to the lungs, to the kidneys, and it helps them feel better.
He can be reached at 248-333-1170. 248-333-1170. Dr. Arif Badshaw, Master Electrician of the Heart. I'm Dick Hafner for WJR Health Watch.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my wife.
I only trust the guys with my home.
You'd think that would have bothered me. Maybe a little jealous. But no, since my wife found the InsideOutsideGuys.com, I get to golf more, hunt more, and I get to spend more time with my beautiful wife and kids.
Aww.
A sincere thank you to the Inside Outside Guys.
For housing information you can trust, listen Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. or 24/7 at theinsideoutsideguys.com.
The Inside Outside Guys are brought to you in part by Granite Source of Michigan.
Hey, it's Jim Harper. I heard about Granite Source of Michigan on the Inside Outside Guys. I was blown away at the different granite, marble, and quartz options they have. One of the easiest ways to upgrade your kitchen, bath, bar, or fireplace is with a new countertop. Granite Source of Michigan is the best in fabrication and installation for custom natural stone countertops and backsplashes. So check them out on the web and get a free edging upgrade with the purchase of a new kitchen countertop. GraniteSourceOfMichigan.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped to you at prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 45% off any order during Blindster's Black Friday sale. Hurry, sale ends November 27th. Blindster.com.
Outer Drive westbound between Chalmers and Newport has reopened. That earlier accident is finally out of your way. 94 westbound at Michigan Avenue, earlier crash in Detroit is clear as well. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Tryon Solutions. Does your HR staff wish it had more time to devote to recruiting, hiring, and training? Free up your HR staff by having Tryon Solutions help with payroll and other time-consuming HR functions. Go to relyontryon.com.
Sunshine mixing in with the clouds out there today and windy with strong, gusty southwest winds at times between 20 and 30 miles per hour as we head into it through this afternoon. High 42, mid-20s tonight. Early clouds tomorrow. Sunshine mixing in through the afternoon. Less wind, mid-40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chilani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663. Or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
And we are going to talk to Jerry Brisson, the president and CEO of the Gleaners Community Food Bank of Southeastern Michigan, in just a few minutes. You can still donate. As we just heard, the phone number is 855-315-FOOD, or just go to hungerfreeinthed.com.
Please give.
Yeah, please.
Any little bit of helps. It's incredibly important.
We still got that matching in effect too. So
Yes.
if you give a buck,
Oh, yeah.
you get you're actually giving two. So keep
That's
those
12
coming in.
meals.
That is.
It's impactful.
So $1 provides 6 meals.
6 meals.
How is that possible?
6 healthy meals.
Yeah, I mean that's just amazing. How
Well, you're
efficient you
dealing
can
with the
be.
best in the business. You're
Right.
dealing with Gleaners. You're dealing with the Capuchins. They know how to make this thing work.
Yeah, I got to do better on my own family budget because I'm paying a lot more than that for a meal.
Yeah, you and me both.
Wasting too much. Hey, over the weekend, there was a number of articles that have been written about Senator Gary Peters, our Michigan senator. He's being celebrated as a major reason why the Democrats held on to the U.S. Senate. It's national news. It's local news. Gary Peters is being hailed a hero. I mean, he led this committee to keep the vulnerable candidates and the vulnerable Democrats in power by really hitting the ground game extra hard. He's a major reason, apparently, that John Fetterman won the Pennsylvania election was because of Gary Peters. They spend something like $60 million, Chris, in these various races, specifically on the ground game, going door to door, knocking and talking with regular folks. And that's on top of the $60 million they spent on advertisements and commercials. All right. So, but think about this. He is being hailed a hero. Gary Peters is. For essentially staying in power, no matter who the candidate was. That became the goal. That's what it came down to. The candidate could be so far left and so extreme that some would argue about a John Fetterman, while at the same time touting they're opposed to extreme candidates. But John Fetterman, who believed in letting a third of the prison population out of prison, who believes in abortion for all 9 months of pregnancy. That's what has stated.
Pretty standard nowadays.
It is standard nowadays, although they'll deny it. But we heard Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist flat out told us. He's like, "Yeah, listen, it's completely up to the woman for all 9 months of pregnancy, whatever it is." That used to be considered extreme, but no longer. But this is the guy. Not to mention, he may have a difficult time operating as a U.S. Senator, John Fetterman. So whatever you think of him, it didn't really matter. Gary Peters did a phenomenal job of whoever the candidate was to keep that candidate in the Democratic column in that seat so they can remain in power.
Well, and they flipped that seat, too, in Pennsylvania. That was a flip.
That was a flip, and that was one of the reasons why. I mean, listen, they might be ahead now by 2 seats.
Correct.
So depending on the outcome of the Georgia U.S. Senate race between Raphael Warnock and, of course, the Heisman Trophy winner himself, Herschel Walker.
But, here's where I think that a lot of people maybe don't understand why Gary Peters is being hailed this hero. After he was reelected a couple of years ago, he became the head of the Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee.
Yes.
And his whole goal in that role is to raise money. Get the donors fired up,
right?
Raise enough money so that you can pour that money back into a lot of these races. And they did. They out-fundraised the National Republican Senatorial Committee by about $17 million. So it's, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit. It's not like he was some savant at garnering this type of support behind the scenes. The Republicans kept pace. It wasn't like they out-fundraised the Republicans by wide margins.
But here's the difference. So here's what the Republicans did. This is why I think it. I've thought about this for about a week and a half now about what really happened here. The Republicans, if they did not like a candidate, and there were many that they didn't like, that they thought were too extreme, they did not support that candidate.
Or primaried him.
Or they primaried him. But the issue is, they were identifying candidates that they thought were extreme, so they did not support them. Democrats will still identify these extreme candidates.
As long as you got a D in front of your name.
And it didn't matter to them.
Yep.
This is what troubles me, is that they will say that he is a mainstream candidate. John Fetterman is nothing. He's not even close to being mainstream. He is a far left progressive individual who I'm surprised that Gary Peters would stump for somebody like that. If
Gary Peters is a moderate.
He's a moderate, but
Democrat.
He's stumping, and he pushed hard to get John Fetterman elected. So what does that say? Is it okay then to compromise your beliefs in order to stay in power? Because John Fetterman is an extremist. And at the same time, Gary Peters is putting out, he says the number one threat to this country are extremists, essentially extremist Republicans.
Look, this is where the questions arise about politics. Do you put party over country?
Right.
Or do you put country over party? And I think this is a prime example of where the parties differ. The Democrats will stump for you if you are a Democrat. Because that means they have control. That means that they hold the cards. Republicans are, they're a little more, the way that they approach things it's a little different, because if you don't necessarily fit in with the ideology of the Republican Party at a certain period of time, well, then you're not in with the family. You're not in with the group. And that certainly, in my opinion, proved to be a detriment in the midterms.
It was a detriment in the midterms. And the Democrats won because no matter what, they stuck together. But my point is this.
Is that something you want?
Yes, exactly. Is there a point where you say, I am not going to compromise certain core beliefs that I have as an individual? In other words, I'm not going to put party over my conscience.
Yeah.
And has Gary Peters done that? He's being hailed a hero by the Democratic Party, but he's being hailed a hero in his own mind, in his own conscience. Can he sleep well at night, knowing that he was a very major reason why a John Fetterman, an extremist, no doubt in my mind, was elected to the U.S. Senate and gave the Democrats control? I'm more of a conscience type of guy.
Yeah.
I've got to sleep well at night, and I'm not a partisan. I'm a conservative, but I have values that I have to stick to. And if something veers off of those values, I first got to check myself. Am I wrong here? Maybe my values are not in sync. And if I find out that they are, then I've got to make another decision.
My dad always used to drop a line on me. He used to say PEBCAC. He's a computer nerd. PEBCAC means problem exists between chair and keyboard.
Ah.
And
User error.
I view that. That to me makes a lot of sense in terms of the voting base too. Look, you can. These parties can spend as much money as you want, but you're right in the sense that you have principles, you have a moral compass as a voter. No matter how much money is spent, how much money is raised, it's irrelevant. You, as the person going to the polls, sending in your absentee ballot, whatever it is, you're the one that has to do the self-check. And in this case, the Democrats came out on top.
Listen, there are some people who I have immense amount of respect for. The independently
I'm sorry, Dad. You're not a nerd. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you're a nerd in a good way. It's cool to be a nerd nowadays. I have immense amount of respect for an independently minded individual, regardless of which party they're in. If they stand on what they said they stood for 20, 30 years ago when they first ran for office, and they're not part of the quote-unquote swamp, or they haven't been pressured or intimidated to such a degree that they're now going to compromise their own character, their own beliefs, and their own integrities. And I would put the former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard in that category. She is not a Republican. She's independently minded. And because of that, she left the Democratic Party because they have gone way too far left in her view. She is truly a moderate Democrat.
But if you ask the left, she's a radical conservative.
Right. And why is that? Because she called out her own party. She stood her ground. So I have respect for her. I don't agree with her on everything. And I don't agree with everything that Republicans say either. But I think that boils it down. Good for Gary Peters. He got what he wanted.
I feel the same way about Liz Cheney, too.
Yeah.
If that's your prerogative, if that's where your moral compass leads you, God bless. I mean, that's your own deal.
Yeah. Right. And a lot of name calling in that camp as well. Hey, there's a lot still to come here on the program. We are going to return, check in with Fox News in a moment. We will return right after that. You're listening to Wall Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz with Chris Renwick.
Hey now.
760 WJR.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my wife.
I only trust the guys with my home.
You'd think that would have bothered me. Maybe a little jealous, but no. Since my wife found the InsideOutsideGuys.com, I get to golf more, hunt more, and I get to spend more time with my beautiful wife and kids.
Aww.
A sincere thank you to the Inside Outside Guys.
For housing information you can trust, listen Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. or 24/7 at the InsideOutsideGuys.com.
The Inside Outside Guys are brought to you in part by Foundation Solutions 360.
Hi, I'm Joe at Foundation Solutions 360. Homes across Michigan fall victim to foundation problems. At Foundation Solutions 360, we provide foundation and crawl space repair with basement waterproofing that is 100% guaranteed at affordable prices. We're veteran-owned, built on integrity and trust. To keep your home dry, call 855-LEAK-360. That's 855-LEAK-360. Or visit us at FoundationSolutions360.com.
Introducing thegreatvoice.com, a new podcast website from News Talk 760 WJR, with all your favorite WJR content delivered directly to your desktop or mobile device, plus podcasts you can only find on thegreatvoice.com.
Paul W. here. Just like you, I've done my best to keep building my nest egg, but my years of accumulating will come to an end eventually, and frankly, it's never too late. In fact, now's the time to turn to an expert that can help preserve my money, someone that can safely transform all these risky dollars into steady, predictable income dollars. That's why I turned to Chris Alberta at Principium. Chris and his team showed me the real difference between what's risky and what's safe. They taught Kim and I how we could cut our fees nearly in half and pay far less in income taxes when we retire. Chris spent more time than I ever expected building and reviewing options for us so that we can feel confident in retirement. It's time to take control of your financial future and not rely on the government, the stock market, or simply unexpected luck to provide us with financial stability. It's time to call Principium. Call Chris at 888-800-8949. Set up a no-obligation visit to discuss your retirement. Just like me, you'll be glad you did.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. Team USA plays its first game of the World Cup tournament today. Members of Iran's men's soccer team refused to sing their country's national anthem before today's match against England, and some fans booed in solidarity with protesters back home. The Americans play Wales at 2 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
After missing out on the World Cup in 2018, U.S. men's soccer is back. Team USA made the round of 16 in 2014. Their best performance, reaching the semifinals in the first ever World Cup back in 1930.
Fox Matt Napolitano there. A railroad conductors union has rejected a tentative labor agreement. All 12 unions involved have to approve the contract to stop a strike next month.
The deal includes a 24% wage increase over 5 years with 5 yearly $1,000 bonuses. There has been criticism, though, about the contract's sick leave, attendance policies, and lack of paid sick days.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped to you at prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 45% off any order during Blindster's Black Friday sale. Hurry, sale ends November 27th. Blindster.com.
94 eastbound after North River Road, accident there, blocking 2 lanes. Only that right lane is open. That's in Macomb. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Sponsored by the Holly Dickens Festival. This weekend kicks off the longest running Dickens Festival in the United States. Bring the family to the 49th annual Holly Dickens Festival in the village of Holly. Watch stage performers stroll the streets, shop, eat, and take a carriage ride. For more info, visit hollydickensfestival.org. Windy start, cold conditions to kick off your Monday, but by Thanksgiving, things start to warm up, hitting close to 50 degrees on Thursday. Clouds and sun today, high of 41 tonight. Some clouds, overnight low 26. Cloudy skies, 30 degrees. Dana Clark, WJR traffic and weather first.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want? I'll have an old fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at bartesian.com/premium. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at bartesian.com/premium. That's BARTESIAN.com/premium for Bartesian's best deal ever, only at bartesian.com/premium.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. After being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chilani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
Hunger and poverty, it's been around a long time, right? Really since the existence of time, probably about that long. Well, here in Southeast Michigan, there's been a long-time organization that strives to truly end the pervasive issue of hunger in the D in all really of Southeastern Michigan. All the way since 1977, Gleaners has been sort of a pioneer in the food bank movement for more than 50 years, doing their work. And there's a reason that they are growing, Chris, because it works.
It works. Absolutely, it works. And it works in conjunction with a lot of different partners. There are a lot of different moving parts. And at the helm of the wheel is Jerry Brisson, the president and CEO at Gleaners Community Food Bank of Southeastern Michigan. Also the co-host of Food First with Dr. Phil Knight here on WJR Sundays at 9 o'clock. The award-winning Food First.
Thank you very much. I always appreciate that. It costs us a lot to get that award.
I know. I know how it goes. I know. Look, this is just a wonderful event. And obviously this is one you've been involved with for a long time. And you and Gleaners are a critical cog in this machine, because in conjunction with the Chilani Family Foundation and of course the Capuchins, this is a very strong partnership that has grown stronger over the years. And obviously everything you do at Gleaners is so important here.
So can I tell a story?
Please,
Please.
yes.
All right.
Once
So
upon a time.
I started working for the Capuchins 35 years ago.
Ah.
So I'm at Gleaners now.
Wow.
I did work for the Capuchins.
So
for
they
a
kicked
long
you out.
time.
Why did they kick you out?
Well, that's a different story, and I wasn't going to tell that story, but I'll tell this one. When I started working for the Capuchins all those years ago, there were only 3 or 4 places in the entire metropolitan area that consistently served, literally hundreds of families. And people would have to drive all the way from Port Huron to the Capuchins on Mount Elliott to get food. This is true, right? When people say, you know what, it just seems like things don't get better, I just want to say this. Now, no matter where you are in the metropolitan area, there is someplace serving food within a mile or 2 of your house. So, and not only are they serving food, but the food is more nutritious. We reach more kids than we've ever reached before. And these kids and families are thriving in ways that we never imagined 35 years ago would be the case. The truth is this: the systems are getting better. We are reaching more people, and those people are doing better. It's not a problem that can't be fixed. It's a problem we are actively fixing. And I just want to say one more thing. If you ever need help, you can call 211. That's the United Way helpline. Call 211. And I know at Gleaners right now, we're getting a lot of people calling saying they need help. Call 211. They will help you. They will help you find one of those places that's serving food within a mile or 2 of your house. And many of those places, you don't need an appointment anymore. You can drive up if you need food, but you got to call 211 and they'll tell you where to go. But that's not how it used to be, right? We're doing way better than we were. And when Dr. Phil and I talk about wanting a food secure state on Food First Michigan, this is what we mean. It doesn't mean people will be out of poverty. There will be poverty. People will need help. We know people will need help. But that doesn't mean we have to have food insecurity.
Right. So poverty is going to exist. It's going to ebb and flow. People are going to have wealth and it's going to go away. But the idea of not being able to eat, that's something that you believe can be solved.
I do believe it can be solved. And I've been here long enough to see how much better it is than how it was. You just got to keep at it, just like anything, right? It's not a simple problem to solve. One of the things we say a lot is the less you know about a problem, the easier it is to solve. The corollary is the more you know, the more you realize it's going to take different things, right? It's more complicated than it looks, but it can be solved. And one of the reasons it can be solved is because there's enough people that want to solve it. There is nobody that thinks hunger and children should be words that go together.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody thinks that. So we can solve it. We work with schools now, hundreds of schools. That never used to be, right? But now, we continue wherever people need help. That's where we show up and we talk to the community. We figure out what it is that's happening that we can do to make sure that in the meantime, as people are going through a job interruption or a health crisis, or, another thing that happens, people lose a loved one from the home, a breadwinner,
Sure.
Death and divorce, those things happen. They're going to happen, right? In that period of time when people just don't know what to do, they're under the most stress maybe they've ever been in their life. Knowing there's a place where this problem can be solved makes a huge difference.
As long as hunger exists, you will be here. And I think that's very important as well.
That's right.
You have over 600 agency partners.
We do.
And that's a testament, obviously, to the work you do. But even more so, the way that you're able to take a simple dollar and stretch it into 6 healthy meals for people is remarkable. How do you do that?
Well, we're going to start today with the Chelani Family Foundation and Tom and Vicky and Dario and how they get all these people to support this, right? So the match is half the battle, right? When you get supporters that say, we're going to put up money for whoever else is willing to come alongside of us, that gets you half the way. The other half the way is all about relationships in a different way, right? We have relationships with farmers and wholesalers and retail. And you know what? We always start bidding at zero.
Sure.
How about if we get the food for nothing?
Right.
And then we work up from there, and people want to help. I mean, the thing about it, when you have partners, especially like the Capuchin Soup Kitchen, that are so well known and so trustworthy, and our partners are well known and trustworthy in the communities where they are, and people know their dollars are going to the right places. 95 cents of every dollar we raise goes back into the mission. Not to say that the 4 cents isn't important. That's my salary we're talking about, right? And I ought to get something. I can't work for nothing.
Well, we need you to run the operation. Absolutely. Yeah.
But nonetheless, 95 cents goes back into the mission, and that's, I think, one of the things that keeps this all strong. So how do we do it? A lot of great relationships with people who care. That's really the bottom line.
But it's not only that, because if you're talking about solving the issue of hunger, it's not the constant giving out a meal. There's that old phrase that you talk about, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's a great concept, but it's very difficult to implement that concept into real life. So you actively work on doing that, though. How achievable has it been so far with Gleaners?
Well, when I started at Gleaners, I started in 2006, and we were distributing about 20 million pounds of food a year in, year out. It would fluctuate some, right? During the pandemic and the height of the pandemic, we did 71 million pounds of food in a year, right?
Wow.
So that's a lot of capacity change, right? Between 20 and 71. And we think that on an ongoing basis, between what Gleaners and Forgotten Harvest does and our hundreds of partners that we already talked about, we probably need regularly about 140 to 150 million pounds of food to meet the need.
Wow.
Now, I know that seems like a really huge number, but you start doing the math and you say, well, there's 700,000 food insecure people, probably a little bit more than that now. Those are lagging numbers, right? We don't have real-time data to know exactly the number. You say 3 meals a day times 700,000. Right. On average, a food insecure person is missing 5 meals a week on average.
Okay.
So you say, 5 times 700,000 times 3 meals a day. How do it's a lot, right? It's a lot of food. So I know it's big numbers to get your head around, but the truth is you break it down just like any big problem. You break it down to what do we need to do today? How many trucks, how much food, where's it coming from? Where does it need to go? And I got to give a shout out to my team because they're back listening to this going as if you know.
You're the guy on the top. Yeah.
Like we have this rule. The rule is if I have to do anything, we've made a mistake, right?
Right, yeah.
So, but I have a great team of truck drivers and distribution people and people in operations and in fundraising and all of the other things that it takes to move this forward. They do an awesome job, and I'm so grateful to them. But those are the answers to how do you make $1 equal 6 meals?
Yeah.
It's efficiency, and you've figured out a formula, and there's a lot of work to do, you and your team. Jerry Brisson, President and CEO of Gleaners Community Food Bank of Southeastern Michigan. Jerry, great to see you. Thanks.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for being out here at Hunger Free in the D. You guys are the best.
You're the best. Thanks so much, Jerry. More to come, 760 WJR.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my wife.
I only trust the guys with my home.
You'd think that would have bothered me, maybe a little jealous, but no. Since my wife found the InsideOutsideGuys.com, I get to golf more, hunt more, and I get to spend more time with my beautiful wife and kids.
Aww.
A sincere thank you to the Inside Outside Guys.
For housing information you can trust, listen Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. or 24/7 at the InsideOutsideGuys.com.
The Inside Outside Guys are brought to you in part by CNC Heating and Air Conditioning.
Now that the cold weather is here, you and your furnace are going to be best friends. Until you get the bill. It's Dana from CNC Heating and Air Conditioning. As one of Michigan's largest and most trusted heating and cooling companies, we recommend getting a yearly furnace tune-up, or if needed, a new high-efficient Carrier furnace. We can save you money, whether through energy rebates or just mentioning the Inside Outside Guys. To schedule your furnace tune-up, visit cncheat.com. That's cncheat.com. Carrier, turn to the experts.
What makes Fast Cash from the Michigan Lottery so thrilling? The progressive jackpot that keeps building with every ticket sold all day long. From the moment you wake up, the jackpot's building. And while you're in the shower, it's still building. Even while you're working, it's still building. Until jackpot, a winner, right on the spot. The fun keeps building with Fast Cash, only from the Michigan Lottery. Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
Once again, 760 WJR presents Christmas on Us to celebrate our extraordinary Michigan military, first responders, frontline workers, and their families. WJR's Christmas on Us honors local service families and rewards them with gifts, spending cash, and more. Visit WJR.com to nominate a deserving military member, first responder, or frontline worker. WJR's Christmas on Us is brought to you in part by Guernsey Farms Dairy, Hungry Howie's, Weingarts, and Ahee Jewelers.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped to you at prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 45% off any order during Blindster's Black Friday sale. Hurry, sale ends November 27th. Blindster.com.
New accident reported in Detroit along Telegraph at McNichols, 94 eastbound after North River Road. Accident in Macomb blocking your right two lanes. Only that left lane is open. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Festival of Trees. Set your hearts aglow at the amazing 38th Annual Festival of Trees, now through December 27th. At the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center in Dearborn, enjoy beautifully decorated trees, a festive gift shop, kids activities, Santa, and so much more. Visit FOT.org.
Not quite as cold out here today as we were yesterday, but very windy. Strong, gusty, mainly south to southwest winds out there today. Sunshine mixing in with the clouds, high 42. Clouds increasing tonight, mid-20s. Early clouds tomorrow, afternoon sun, less wind, mid-40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ken Boone on News Talk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chelani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
So grateful for the Chelani Family Foundation for putting this together. It all benefits Gleaners Community Food Bank and Capuchin Soup Kitchen. You know, in the first 8 years they did this, Hunger Free in the D, they raised more than $4 million to help feed hungry people. And this year's goal is to provide 500,000 meals to local struggling families this holiday season. So they've done a match of $200,000, the Chelani Family Foundation matching your donation, dollar for dollar, up to $200,000. And every dollar raised, of course, will provide 6 meals. And you know, Chris, it takes partnerships to get to this level of feeding the hungry. It takes willing sponsors to make this happen.
There's no doubt about it. And if you want to get involved, hungerfreeinthed.com, hungerfreeinthed.com, or 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-FOOD. And you're right. And there is a tremendous network of sponsors that have willingly participated in this event. And this year being our 9th annual Hunger Free in the D on WJR. Greg Bocart is the executive managing director of Savills Detroit office and is one of today's sponsors. First of all, Greg, thank you so much for being one of the willing participants. Your efforts are so incredibly valuable, obviously, as the Chelani Foundation, the Capuchins, and Gleaners tries to end hunger in the city of Detroit and in our surrounding areas. But I would love to know from your perspective why this is so important for Savills to be involved with.
Well, it's a really important mission, and we offer a big thanks to the Chelani Family Foundation for putting this together. I'm really disappointed I couldn't personally be there this year. It's my daughter's 7th birthday. She's listening in on the other room. So happy birthday, Alex! But
yeah, happy birthday.
Hunger and starvation is a big problem, and not understanding of what it's like and being offered the opportunity to have a normal life is doesn't give you the same perspective as a lot of people that are out there cold and struggling and needing additional food and support. So we're honored to be a part of the team and offer our donation and be part of the great event.
It's so stark when you say the word starvation. It really brings it home. We would think that doesn't happen in this country, let alone in the state, but we do know it exists. When you think about that, I guess go back with your journey of the reason why, starvation is happening in Michigan. There are about 500,000 children in this state who are hungry. They don't have food. Talk about the genesis of why you decided to get involved with Hunger in the Deep.
Yeah, I've known the Chelani family for a long time and tend to support a lot of the initiatives they have. And this is important to me as far as the fact that I'm also part of the Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation, the Children's Foundation, and with all the children's initiatives and this also being children's-based, children are actually starving as well, and their parents need help supporting and feeding their families. So there's a number of reasons, and I don't know that we have enough time to go over every single one of them. There's a great event, a great thing, and I'm happy to be part of it.
Savills being the commercial real estate firm that it is, obviously you have a connection to the community. You are there, and you know of the need, and unfortunately there is a need. But how has the work that Savills has done and you and your team, how has that influenced how you attack the community and how you are so willing to participate in these types of events?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we do a lot of non-for-profit work. We do our best to give back to the community and the work that we do. So we work with a lot of non-for-profits and help donate any commissions earned back to those organizations. And there's a number of them: Children's Foundation, Engineering Society of Detroit, Travelers Aid Society. We've worked with all these different groups and donated commissions back to help support their missions. So it's important to us and it's important for the community.
Yeah, one of your values at Savills is helping teams thrive. You say real estate is about people because that's what makes up not only your company but the people who are investing in real estate, in commercial real estate. The pandemic hit a lot of your people hard. They hit a lot of people around the state hard. How have you been able to weather that? And it's also the pandemic alone has really contributed to the need to help make Hunger Free in the D a success.
Yeah, I think it's on a lot of people's minds right now. As the post-pandemic workplace isn't back to 100% yet, right? You have people that have flexible work schedules. It's on every executive's mind on what the return to work looks like and how they can best accommodate maybe flexible work schedules for the foreseeable future here. So we're doing a lot of workplace strategy with different companies on what post-pandemic workplace looks like and helping them restructure the leases and cut costs to help their organization.
You mentioned today is your daughter's 7th birthday, and that's wonderful. And I've got a couple of little kids. Obviously, Tom, you have kids as well. And when you see some of these numbers, that 1 in 3 kids in Wayne County are hungry, it pulls at your heartstrings. And I'm just curious to know how that makes you feel and how that drives your efforts as well.
Yeah, having children of my own, you really think about it a lot differently. I've always been passionate about children-based charities, but after, having my own, you look at it a different light. So, I just can't imagine, my own child starving and we need to take care of other people's children too. So it's important.
What's been her response? I know she said she's listening. What has been her response to what you're doing?
How you
here?
doing? She's got to grade you, I'm sure.
She loves it, and I've got a 3-month-old here as well.
Nice.
Which isn't as fun for Disney.
Congratulations.
Look, we appreciate so much your willingness, Savil's willingness to be involved here, because it's partners like you that make this such a success. And it's partners like you that are giving the Capuchins, giving Gleaners the ability to help people in our community. Obviously, you're very involved. You will continue to be involved. And we appreciate you so much and the company's efforts because it's important. And so thank you very much for everything you're doing.
Of course. And, what we do is simple. We're just helping out, with money where we can. But, thank you again to the organizers and everybody involved in putting this together. Without them, it wouldn't be possible to raise the kind of funds that have been raised. So,
Absolutely.
A big kudos to them.
Right. Greg Bogarts with Savills, the Executive Managing Director of Savills Detroit office. Greg, great to talk with you. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right. Have a good day. It is amazing,
care.
Chris, when you think about, so his organization, he's in commercial real estate.
Yep.
They've been affected dramatically from the pandemic.
Sure.
A lot of their buildings have been shut down and people are just starting to return to that. But when you look at the ramifications of just that situation alone, it impacts everybody's livelihood over the past couple of years. So we've had to become more efficient. And when you donate to Hunger Free in the D, $1 provides 6 meals. That to me is phenomenal. It's unbelievable. We are still taking donations. We would love for you to give. You've probably been hearing this message, hungerfreeinthed.com, or call 855-315-FOOD. This is 760 WJR.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my wife.
I only trust the guys with my home.
You'd think that would have bothered me. Maybe a little jealous, but no. Since my wife found the InsideOutsideGuys.com, I get to golf more, hunt more, and I get to spend more time with my beautiful wife and kids.
Aww.
A sincere thank you to the Inside Outside Guys.
For housing information you can trust, listen Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. or 24/7 at the InsideOutsideGuys.com.
The Inside Outside Guys are brought to you by Motor City Floors and Coatings.
Hi, it's Paul W. Do you have a garage or basement that had an epoxy floor coating applied and it started to peel, chip, and fade? Well, Motor City Floors and Coatings have completely changed the concrete coatings world with their own polyurea polyaspartic coating system, making it more durable and longer lasting than those old epoxies. That's why we had them out to coat our basement's concrete floor. To get on Michigan's most preferred concrete coating company's fall or winter schedule, visit MotorCityFloorsandCoatings.com. That's MotorCityFloorsandCoatings.com, powered by Mr. Coatings.
Hi, everybody. It's Mitch Albom. Send your friends and family tins of fresh, handmade brown bag popcorn this holiday season, and you'll be helping others in our community through the charities of Say Detroit. 100% of the profits from brown bag popcorn goes directly to Say Detroit, which gives year-round assistance to infants, young moms, at-risk teens, seniors, vets, and the homeless. If you really want to do the holiday spirit, give a gift that keeps on giving and helping other people. You can order online now at brownbagpopcorn.com. And if you use the promo code Mitch10 before November 20th, you'll save 10% on your order. And that can be great, especially if you're ordering a lot of tins to send out to your friends, your loved ones, your employees, your clients, your business people. We'll ship it fresh and fast anywhere in the USA. And you can get 10% off that order by sending Mitch10 at brownbagpopcorn.com. Your company can make an even bigger difference by becoming a 2022 Brown Bag Popcorn Pledge Partner and get all the details on doing that if you'd like to have a large order at brownbagpopcorn.com. Brown Bag Popcorn holiday tins are also available at our shop on the 3rd floor of the Somerset Collection North. Brown Bag Popcorn, it's popcorn with a purpose.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes, 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
In the Colorado Springs LGBTQ community. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
What are we supposed to do? Where are we supposed to go? How are we supposed to feel safe in our environment when it just got shot up?
He hid in a dressing room while a shooting spree ruined his 34th birthday celebration at the Q Club, where 5 people were killed, at least 25 injured, until some in the bar stopped and injured the shooter, holding him for police.
The district attorney says Anderson Aldrich will face multiple counts of first-degree murder and other felony charges. Police so far have not answered questions about his possible criminal past. A man with the same name and age was arrested in Colorado Springs last year after making bomb threats, but it appears that case was never prosecuted. A lot of questions about that.
Fox's Claudia Cowan in Colorado Springs. There's a funeral today for the first of the 4 University of Idaho students found stabbed to death in a home 8 days ago. Ethan Chapin will be laid to rest where he was from, Washington State. Police still have no suspects in the murders. In New York City, more details about the Friday arrest of 2 men facing a terroristic threat charge, accused of plotting to attack the Jewish community. Mayor Eric Adams says
one of the suspects was flagged by making anti-Semitic and threatening posts online, including references to perpetrate an armed attack on a synagogue.
one had a large knife, an illegal gun, and a Nazi armband when arrested. The World Cup is underway. 3 hours from now, Team USA plays its first match against Wales.
During the beginning of the game between Iran and England, the Iranian players did not sing their national anthem in what is believed to be a stance of solidarity with the protesters back home.
Fox's Alex Hogan in Qatar, referencing women's rights protests that have gone on for weeks despite a deadly crackdown by Iran's regime. England beat Iran 6-2. In a few minutes, President Biden will pardon 2 Thanksgiving turkeys. One's named Chocolate, the other Chip. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by the FEMA Funeral Assistance Program.
If you paid or are still paying the cost of a COVID-19 funeral, you may qualify for up to $9,000 from FEMA to cover your expenses. Just call 844-684-6333 or visit fema.gov/funeral-assistance.
Telegraph at McNichols. Earlier accident in Detroit is in the clearing stages. 94 eastbound after North River Road. Accident blocking right 2 lanes. Only that left lane is open. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Innovation, resilience, agility. It's how Michigan businesses continue to make a difference now and work to shape the future. The businesses of the future are being built today right here in Michigan. Join them. Make your mark where it matters. Visit michiganbusiness.org. Clouds and sun today, a windy start. We are expecting things to warm up throughout the week. A high of 44 today. Tonight, some clouds. Overnight low 26. Sun and a few clouds on Tuesday. Warmer, a high of 44. Cloudy skies, 31 degrees. Dana Clark, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Moments like seeing my son's team cheer him on mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for postmenopausal women or for men with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Steve Courtney here from my good friends at Livonia-based Bill Brown Ford. Oh, Nelly! Pigskin is back in the great state of Michigan as our professional, college, and high school football teams get back to business. Bill Brown Ford, America's #1 Ford dealer, has the hardest working team in the Motor City. Visit BillBrownFord.com today to place your 2023 order. Bill Brown, serving the needs of Michiganders for well over 100 years.
#1 Ford dealer is based on Ford's new Total Retailer Report for 2021. Tune in at 3 p.m. every Saturday for the Veterans Perspective with host MVAA Director Zenata Adams. Presented by the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency. Veterans Perspective, Saturdays at 3 on News Talk 760 WJR.
You're just in time for one of the most successful charity events in Michigan to help feed the food insecure. It's WJR and the Chalani Family Foundation's 9th annual Hunger Free in the D. On All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz and Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin.
Hey, we are going to
This is your opportunity to help.
Whoa!
Every dollar goes to Gleaners Community Food Bank and the Capuchin Soup Kitchen. Just $1 provides 6 nutritious meals to a Detroit area child in need. Call 855-315-FOOD to donate. That's 855-315-3663. Or do it online at hungerfreeinthed.com. Now from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, here are Chris and Tom.
Will you wait a minute, please?
No, if you open the window, I'm going to jump right through it. And that's what I did. I heard a pause. It was too much of a pregnant pause.
Let Mr. Big Voice do his thing.
I thought it was time. Big Voice overpowered my voice, and I'd let him continue. Hey, this is big news. We are going to take your text in just a minute here. It's 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. This would have been a major argument for the defense of the parents of Ethan Crumbley, James and Jennifer, right? So that would have been the case, but the judge has ruled in, stepped in on this, Chris, and said, no, you can't make that argument anymore.
No, you're right. And it's going to be a real key turning point in how the prosecution attacks this case. WJR senior news analyst Lloyd Jackson following that story for us this morning. Good morning, Lloyd.
Good morning, guys. You know, when it comes to the case against James and Jennifer Crumbley, the parents of Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley, the defense has won a round in court. The judge in the case ruled that prosecutors cannot argue to the jury that Ethan's parents put him on a path to violence. Now, Ethan has pled guilty to shooting and killing 4 students and injuring 7 others at Oxford High School a year ago. Prosecutors are seeking a life sentence without parole for him. Prosecutors have charged his parents with involuntary manslaughter, alleging they are responsible for the November 30th, 2021 massacre at the school. The prosecutor has 2 mass shooting experts testify during a hearing that school shooters just don't snap and they can be stopped through early intervention. But the judge in the Oakland County case, Cheryl Matthews, ruled the research by the experts was not reliable or relevant to the Crumbley case. In Judge Matthews' 16-page opinion, she wrote most paramount to the conclusion is the fact that experts admitted that they cannot predict what actions or inactions would stop a school shooting. Further, she wrote that it's confusing and misleading to present the theory to jurors when the experts cannot say with any certainty whether action or inaction by the parents in this case would have changed the outcome. Prosecutors say the Crumbleys could have prevented the massacre if they let school officials know about the gun when they were called to the school the morning of the shooting about their son's behavior. Prosecutors say the parents ignored his mental health needs and even bought him a gun that he used in that shooting at the school. Guys?
You know, what's interesting here is this is obviously a big win for the defense. This is a big win for the parents of Ethan Crumbley here. And conversely, it's a blow to the prosecution this was the setup that they were going to take. They had expert witnesses that were ready to testify to this. How do the prosecution now look at this case? Because they're going to have to take a different road now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to take a different road. I think they're going to have to, sit down and reconvene on how they want to do. I mean, because look, guys, this case is something that hasn't happened before anyway. It's a first to have the parents charged with what their son did, and as a almost a co-conspirator or whatever, co-defendant almost because of what their kid did. And so this is going to set precedent. If this goes through, you're going to start seeing a lot of this when kids go out and make these, do these massacres, these shootings at schools or wherever. You're going to see if the parents had something to do with it. If it was the parents' gun, if it was locked up, if they bought the gun, all of that is going to go into it. And you're going to start seeing more of these types of cases. So, everyone is looking at this, guys.
Yeah.
From across, everyone's looking at it.
Well, like you said, this hasn't happened before. So this would be precedent setting if they were able to make this kind of an argument that they put Ethan on this pathway to violence by ignoring all these needs that he obviously had. You can apply it not just to mass shootings. You can apply it to, hey, my son went down and took a Snickers bar out of a 7-Eleven. Well, let's prosecute the parents for that. Or whatever the crime is that a minor commits, you can now apply that to the parents or whoever was in charge of that kid's life, essentially who had authority in that kid's life, and say, hey, they got to be co-defendants in this because their son made a mistake, therefore they made a mistake. I mean, there's no end really to it, right?
No, it's not. You're really opening Pandora's box because the kid could be in school, could be a bully and get into a lot of fights and beat up kids and hurt a kid and say, well, the parent, know this guy had a problem and maybe the parent has the issue too and they just allowed it to happen. And so now we're going to charge the parents as well as the kid. So yeah, you're opening up Pandora's box if this goes through.
I am going to be really interested to see where this case goes because, look, the prosecution, at least the feeling from the outside, feels like they got the goods, right? Feels like they got something on the Crumbly parents that they feel like they can go to court and they can prove that they are in some sort of, they acted complicit somehow. But this is certainly throws a wrench into that. How Karen McDonald and this prosecution team now attacks this, I think is also going to be precedent setting.
Don't they? Can they focus, Lloyd, on maybe, okay, there was a gun crime or a law that was violated by buying him the gun and giving him access to it? Maybe that's a crime in and of itself, but it doesn't equate to the larger crime of manslaughter. Or something of that nature.
And it could, and it could be, and who knows? I mean, will they go to trial still? Will they try to cut a deal on that because maybe this throws a monkey wrench into their plans? Or will they just say, well, we just have this case of them purchasing the gun and he getting a hold to it, and we'll go from there without having the whole put him up to put him through this kind of treacherous lifestyle. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be very exciting, and it's going to be educational. It's going to be very educational, I think, for everyone.
There's a high bar. We talk to a lot of attorneys on this program, and they say, listen, it's one thing to bring charges against somebody. It's another thing to prove it in a courtroom. And I think when the judge said, listen, it is confusing, it is misleading to present this theory to jurors. When the experts can't say with certainty, you got to have beyond a reasonable doubt. They can't even say for sure that what the parents did here is what led Ethan Crumbly to go and shoot up the school. There are certainly things they could have. They're probably definitely negligible parents. You can argue the fact that they were not good parents in any sense of the word, but did they also commit a crime here in the death of these children? That's a high bar.
Because let me tell you, as many times as kids have made mistakes and, maybe not killed someone, but, maimed someone, hurt someone, even in a car accident, driving under the influence. If, the parents were involved in all of those cases, there'd be a lot of parents locked up. Right.
There would. We all make mistakes, but this was obviously on another scale. All right, we appreciate the update. Lloyd Jackson, WJR Senior News Analyst. Appreciate it, Lloyd. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we are here having a wonderful day here, talking about hunger-free in the D, and there's still a lot of opportunity for you to give and to help out. The website is hungerfreeinthed.com. That's hungerfreeinthed.com, or call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-FOOD.
Give.
Please do. More to come. 760 WJR.
Gary Morowski, President, Flame, Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, reaching out with a Christmas gift you can't pass up. Install a new high-efficiency heating and cooling system before November 30th. At no charge, Flame will supply and install a new 40-gallon water heater. Flame secures permits and all work performed. Flame has over 100 trucks to serve you 24/7, 365. One other thing, $2,500 in rebates on top of a free water heater. Flame also takes care of any plumbing, drain staking, or electrical needs. Backup generators are our specialty. Flame is our name, service is our game. I guarantee it.
Hi, this is Jim Brandstatter. Michigan football is part of the legacy of WJR Radio, spanning 100 years of service as the great voice of the Great Lakes. In September of 1994, Michigan football suffered a stunning defeat. The Wolverines gave up a 26-14 lead to Colorado in the fourth quarter and lost the game on a 64-yard Hail Mary pass from Cordell Stewart to Michael Westbrook as the clock expired. Utter shock and disbelief descended on Michigan Stadium. Future NFL Hall of Famer Ty Law and teammate Chuck Winters were in the middle of that play. Winters remembers it like it went down in slow motion.
The ball goes up. I'm kind of backing up on my heels. We both go up. Ty tries to intercept the ball, and it bounced off his shoulder pad. And I'm like kind of right in the middle as we're falling down. It bounced in the air, and I'm looking back, and I see Westbrook right behind me catching the ball. I'm like, oh, that was the worst feeling in the world right there. It took me maybe about almost 2 weeks to actually get over that, because it was just, it was on television every day. The coaches was talking about it. We had videotape of it. Man, that was the worst feeling in the world. Now, I see it and it's like, oh, I'm part of history, but you don't want to be a part of that history, though. I mean, everybody was sick. I mean, it was just like we just were sitting there in disarray, just kind of sitting around, and like it did not, like not, don't know what to say, but just kind of sitting there looking around, like, man, is this really just happening?
The preceding was an excerpt from the audiobook Voices of Michigan Stadium, available at JimBrandstatter.com and Amazon.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. Do you need new blinds or shades? Blindster offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters shipped to you at prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 45% off any order during Blindster's Black Friday sale. Hurry, sale ends November 27th. Blindster.com.
Telegraph at McNichols. Earlier accident there in Detroit is clear. New crash 75 southbound at 8 Mile, blocking the shoulder. Also on Washtenaw, seeing a new collision along 94 eastbound at Huron Street. Also 94 eastbound after North River Road. Accident blocks the right lane. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Sponsored by Gordon Chevrolet. Buying or leasing a vehicle today can be almost impossible unless you buy the Gordon Chevrolet way. Find what you want now. Lock in your price. Voted best of the best by the Detroit Free Press. Ford Road, just west of Merriman in Garden City. Gordon Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Quite windy out there today. Sunshine mixing in with the clouds. Gusty, mainly south to southwest winds. High 42. Increasing clouds tonight, mid-20s. Cloudy tomorrow. Sunshine mixing in through the afternoon. Less wind, mid-40s. Sunny, upper 40s Wednesday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on Newstalk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chilani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
And don't let the idea that it's Thanksgiving week, don't let it fool you that everyone's got a full table filled with turkey and stuffing and all the goods around it. The fact of the matter is thousands of children, senior citizens, thousands of families are going to struggle to put food on the table this holiday season. So this is our 9th annual WJR Hunger Free in the D. It's presented by the Chilani Family Foundation. It's really this whole 2-week matching campaign. We got $200,000 from the Chilani Foundation that they've agreed to match for every dollar that is given. And we still have not met that matching threshold. Go ahead and call us right now, 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-FOOD, or just simply go to hungerfreeinthed.com. You can donate that way. And it really does take a village in these kind of situations, Chris. A lot of partnerships make what is happening today possible.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And we've talked to a couple of the really important sponsors of today's event and Hunger Free in the D, and happy to have another important member of the community and then important a cog into this machine that is Hunger Free in the D. TJ Spreitzer is one of the co-owners of Green Lantern Pizza. Again, one of the sponsors of today's event, and he joins us here at Palazzo Di Bacci. TJ, nice to see you.
Gentlemen, how we doing? Thanks for having me on today. What a wonderful afternoon to raise some money for Hunger in the D today.
Yeah, we thank you for everything that you and your family are doing and Green Lantern are doing as well. This is a really unique story at Green Lantern because this is a very much a family business. And it feels like because of that mentality, it feels very right to have this kind of partnership together.
Absolutely. This is our first time doing something with Hunger in the D. A few times we've done something with the Chilani Foundation. We're glad to be here. I mean, what a better way to support the cause and get out here and throw some bocce and trying to raise money for Hunger in the D, man. What a better way than to get all these companies together to raise money for a great cause.
As Paul W. said, it puts the fun in fundraising with the had bocce ball in the back here, which we're going to start, I think, at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I want you to go back a little bit in Green Lantern pizzas. history? Because you've been slinging pies for decades, 55 years.
Yeah, I started.
Talk about that.
Yeah, we've been around for a long time. So my brother and I both started in the old family kitchen washing dishes, if you will. But I don't think we both ever expected our company to get where we got today.
Yeah.
So here, quick story from behind the family business is that Green Lantern has been around since the 30s. My grandfather and his sister, I believe, bought the place in 52, of which my grandfather then bought it off his sister in 55. So since then, we've taken what we considered a biker bar in the 70s and 80s with good pizza. My dad took over in the 80s, kind of converted that into a restaurant. As I said earlier, unfortunately, he passed away when we were kids, but kind of set the foundation up for us to succeed, if you will. So
yeah,
early 2000s hit. My brother got this crazy idea about opening up a delivery store at one of the buildings my mom owned that was sitting empty for a while. And here we are today. So we got our ninth location open now. 10th opening in Warren. Another potential location opening up in Livonia would be number 11.
Wow.
And if all goes well, we'll get a location in the 18 in Mound area open, which would be store 12. So
I am a pizza aficionado, and I can tell you Green Lantern's got some of the best in the area. There's no doubt about it.
We appreciate that.
And it feels really, again, because of the story, because of all the community involvement you have with police and fire, you're very much a community company, and feeding people good food and then giving back. It just adds to everything Green Lantern's about, I think.
Absolutely. I think that you're nothing without your community involvement, or more importantly, you're nothing without the people that surround yourself with. So I'm only as good as my staff, and vice versa. We try to give back to the community because that's what keeps our doors open. Without school involvement, police and fire involvement, we aren't required to do that, right? But what better way to create a community foundation? No different than the original store at 12 Mile and John R. And that was just kind of our passion over the years is if you can establish a relatively successful business in the community, you got to give back to get some long-term growth. And that goes for all of our locations, not just one or two.
Right. So this is one of the reasons why I root for every small business. If you got one shop and you want to grow it,
it is.
Look what happens. So you got 9 now, you're going for 10, maybe 11. And now you said being a part of Hunger Free in the D is something that you've kind of wanted. You've done it on a smaller level with other groups and community organizations, whether it be a firehouse or whatever.
That's correct.
Or schools. But now you can expand that reach because you've had such great success.
Absolutely. And we're looking forward to doing that. As we grow, we're going to be always cutting a part of our revenue into budgeting for community involvement. And we're just happy to be here. Great day to raise some money, great day to get involved, and why not jump in head first?
When you hear these numbers, 1 in 6 people in Wayne County are hungry. 1 in 3 kids in Wayne County are hungry. How important is it for then you to get involved and then have the leadership at the top with the Chelani Family Foundation and then the Gleaners and the Capuchins? How important is it for you to be involved in that?
Oh, it's very important to us. Obviously, they're great leaders, and their involvement in the communities. What easier way than to get involved in just jumping in head first with the Chelani Foundation and Hunger in the D? It breaks everybody's heart to hear that someone's going hungry for the holidays, but it's up to us to continue these types of causes to prevent that from happening in the future.
Yeah, obviously, there's a demand because there's still, I think, 500,000 kids in the state of Michigan who are hungry. They don't have a guaranteed meal at the end of the day, and it's even more when you add in the senior citizens and just families in general. You're in the food business.
Absolutely.
And it takes a lot of work to produce food and to share food and to sell food. Is that really kind of what drove you to this particular cause? And this is right up your alley?
I mean, in a sense, right? So start with the Hunger in the D, and Children's Hunger right there. It's easy to get involved with something like that because you immediately want to count your blessings and give back to those who need it. I think it's just kind of our way of continuing following the Chelani Foundation. Obviously, they're a big part of this. And my brother and I are here to support that. This is our first time getting involved with something like this, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
So what separates Green Lantern? Well, what is the
infamous
secret family recipe here?
Let
me get my pen. Hold on, one second. What's the secret?
I'm not going to go on record and tell you guys that we're the best pizza in town, even though our original 12 Mile store says that. We do things like my grandfather did back in the day. We use high quality products, and we get our cheese, whole milk mozzarella cheese up from Wisconsin. There, it comes in off the truck in a block, and we're sitting there every day grinding it. Our pepperoni sticks are still sticks. We got to sit there and cut them fresh. Now, our quality of products, what dictates, I think, us from everybody else. Everybody else can go out there and say they have the best cheese and the best pepperoni, but we're not out there to say that. We're just here to to do things the way we feel pizza was supposed to be made back in the day. We don't use fillers. We don't change anything that my grandfather created just because it's what got us here. So we do things the hard way.
Slinging pies, like you said.
Slinging
you hear
pies.
that?
Well, see, the whole thing is the flavor tells the story. You don't have to do that, right? At the end of the
Exactly.
day, if people keep coming back. That's good enough.
The proof's in the pudding, if you will, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
no pudding on my pizza, please.
You mentioned earlier that it takes a lot of hard work to grow a business, to keep it going, to keep it successful. You've had probably a couple of difficult years with the pandemic, and yet you're growing store by store. You got a franchise that's developing and getting stronger and getting larger. But that sacrifice, so you kind of touched on that briefly during the commercial break. What is that? What's the sacrifice? What are you giving up to have this kind of success?
I might be repeating stuff I watched off of Shark Tank, but anybody that starts their own business, it's real. It's first and foremost, you got to have the confidence to go out on your own and do that, right? Luckily for us, we already had an established business, but I think that in anybody trying to grow that store from 1 to 2 to 3, 1 and 2 and 3 are harder than probably 3 through 10, if you will, because it takes all those learning curves, sacrificing your time with family, getting the buy-in from your own family to allow you to spend the time at work to grow your business in the way that you see fit. And luckily for us, my brother and I both, and my sister as well, we all have support enough to continue that drive and that passion we have to just give other people the same opportunities that we had as owners,
Well, your drive, your passion is allowing you to grow your business.
Absolutely.
And that's allowing you to give back. And so we very much appreciate everything that you've done. And hopefully we'll continue to do into the future, not only at a smaller level, which is great. Schools and fire and police, they need a lot of support. But this is a much more, it feels like a much more important cause, and we appreciate you doing that.
Well, thank you so much for having us on, man. I really do appreciate that.
TJ Spricer, owner of Green Lantern Pizza. Check them out. They're growing throughout Michigan. Appreciate it so much, TJ. Hey, when you think about it, and one thing that just hit me when somebody brought up the whole idea, Chris, of there being starvation. That word hit me more than, food insecurity.
It's awful.
I think food insecurity is a good way to put it, but it kind of whitewashes a little bit about the need that's out there.
Yeah.
No one wants to see a child go starve, to the point of where they absolutely have no food, no hope. And this is why Hunger Free in the D is so important. So we are still taking donations. 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-FOOD, or just go online. It's a lot easier that way, I think. HungerFreeInTheD.com. That's HungerFreeInTheD.com.
And I think it's worth mentioning, again, I think everybody is understanding of the current economic climate we're in.
Yeah.
It's tough
for
a lot of people out there. If you're doing okay, it's tough.
It is.
But these people at the top, whether it's the Capuchins, whether it's Gleaners, and obviously the Chilani Family Foundation, they know how to make this work. So whatever amount you're comfortable in giving, little, big, we'll take big, but we will certainly take little because that goes a long way into helping a lot of these folks.
Just $1 goes a long way. 6 meals. More to come, 760 WJR.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Celebrating life's special moments has been at the heart of Ahee Jewelers since Edmund T. Ahee opened his first store in the lobby of his uncle's bowling alley in 1947. 75 years later, the Ahee family has since built an international reputation for award-winning artistry, superior selection, and exceptional customer experience. Whether you're shopping for a gift or adding to your personal collection, Ahee's vast selection of coveted brands, including their own line of custom in-house jewelry, has the perfect piece for every occasion. To mark their diamond anniversary, Ahee's is hosting a series of free in-store events through the end of the year.
Start your day with the Paul W. Smith Show live from AHE on Friday, December 2nd, beginning at 6 a.m. And on Saturday, December 3rd, Santa will be in the store from noon till 5 with special treats for children. All are welcome. Experience the magic of AHE's commitment to giving customers more than they expect. Visit the AHE showroom in Grosse Pointe Woods or ahe.com.
Is being investigated as a hate crime, although police say they don't know a motive yet.
I heard shots, broken glass, bodies.
Oh my gosh.
It was... How? Why?
Joshua Thurman was there and says he hid in the dressing room. A big snowstorm is over in western New York. More than 6 feet of snow fell, 80 inches recorded in Orchard Park outside Buffalo.
President Joe Biden has okayed a request for federal emergency assistance, which frees up aid to help the 11 hard-hit counties recover from the weekend's severe winter storm. Many businesses remain closed, and while travel bans have been lifted in some areas, they remain in effect for parts of Buffalo and surrounding areas.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Power. Schools are closed in and around Buffalo today. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by the FEMA Funeral Assistance Program.
If you paid or are still paying the cost of a COVID-19 funeral, you may qualify for up to $9,000 from FEMA to cover your expenses. Just call 844-684-6333 or visit FEMA.gov/funeral-assistance.
75 southbound at 8 Mile, accident blocking the shoulder. 94 eastbound at Huron Street. Watch for an accident blocking your left 2 lanes. About a 30-minute delay from Michigan Avenue. 94 eastbound after North River Road, accident blocks the right lane. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Cold start to the week, but by Thanksgiving, we'll be close to 50. So just hang on in there. This snow should be melting over the next couple of days. Clouds and sun today, but windy conditions. A high of 41 tonight. Some clouds. Overnight low 26. Sun and clouds on Tuesday and a high of 44. Cloudy skies, 34 degrees. Dana Clark, WJR traffic and weather first.
Macomb County, 460 square miles of where you want to be. It's a place where your children can grow, and so can your business. It's the birthplace of advanced technologies that not only instruct future generations, but protect them. To truly understand what Macomb County is all about, you need to experience it. And if you do that, you'll know you're home. Visit MakeMacomb.com.
Come and experience the magic of Christmas in Frankenmuth this holiday season. Rock around the 40-foot Christmas tree at the Visitor Center as it comes to life with a light and music show. Tighten up your skates for a lap around Frankenmuth's ice rink, located in the heart of downtown. Start your holiday shopping and find unique presents for everyone on your list this Christmas in one of Frankenmuth's locally owned shops and boutiques. There's no place like Frankenmuth for the holidays. For a complete list of details and events, visit frankenmuth.org or call 1-800-FUNTOWN today.
Join Hala Taha for actionable advice from the brightest minds in the world on the Young and Profiting Podcast. Author and academic Arthur Brooks on what success isn't.
The husband was confessing to his wife that he might as well be dead. And I'm thinking, whoa, what's wrong with this guy? I turn around to get a look, and it turns out to be one of the most famous men in the world. The world tells you that if you are profiting, money, power, pleasure, fame, you're going to be happy. And that's a bogus formula.
The Young and Profiting Podcast, wherever you listen.
Hi, everybody. It's Mitch Albom. Send your friends and family tins of fresh, handmade brown bag popcorn this holiday season, and you'll be helping others in our community through the charities of Say Detroit. 100% of the profits from brown bag popcorn goes directly to Say Detroit, which gives year-round assistance to infants, young moms, at-risk teens, seniors, vets, and the homeless. If you really want to do the holiday spirit, give a gift that keeps on giving and helping other people. You can order online now at brownbagpopcorn.com, and if you use the promo code MITCH10 before November 20th, you'll save 10% on your order. And that can be great, especially if you're ordering a lot of tins to send out to your friends, your loved ones, your employees, your clients, your business people. We'll ship it fresh and fast anywhere in the USA. And you can get 10% off that order by sending Mitch10 at brownbagpopcorn.com. Your company can make an even bigger difference by becoming a 2022 Brown Bag Popcorn Pledge Partner, and get all the details on doing that if you'd like to have a large order at brownbagpopcorn.com. Brown Bag Popcorn holiday tins are also available at our shop on the 3rd floor of the Somerset Collection North. Brown Bag Popcorn, it's popcorn with a purpose.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chilani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
Hey, let's hear from you in just a bit. We want you to text us, and we'll read your text on the air, hopefully. 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. Pretty enjoyable weekend of football, Chris. I was pretty content with the vast majority of the games that were played.
Lions with a big win. That is not to be understated. You go beat a 7-2 team on the road in those conditions, and you don't just beat them, but you beat them. Really nice. Michigan escapes with a win at the Big House against Illinois, and Michigan State. Look, you just can't blow a 17-point halftime lead.
No,
but
that was
look, all things considered, not a bad weekend in football across the board. WJR sports analyst Steve Courtney. Look, this guy has a terrible job of just watching football. Good morning, Stephen.
Now, Tom, how are you? Good morning once again, my friends. This update brought to you by Pain Free Life Centers. They've been providing real pain relief to thousands for over a decade. No drugs, no injections, no surgery, and no side effects. Go where Darren McCarty goes to treat his pain. Your consultation and for treatment are free. Visit painfreelifecenters.com to learn more. Let's begin with the disappointment that was the Spartans' performance at the Woodshed on Saturday afternoon. It was cold. It was blustery, perhaps the coldest I have ever been, but I digress. Senior Day, 20-plus Spartan Dogs celebrating their final appearance at Spartan Stadium, and they fall in double overtime, 39-31 to the Indiana Hoosiers, a ball club that had lost 7 straight. As you alluded to, Chris, the Spartans were owners of a 24-7 halftime lead, but to the credit of the Hoosiers, they stuck to the fight. They rallied to tie the game at 31 in the fourth quarter. The Spartans with an opportunity to win it at the end of regulation, but a 22-yard field goal was missed. A couple of things go to waste. Michigan State had 2 100-yard rushers in the game for the first time since 2014. Jalen Berger, 119 yards. Elijah Collins, 107 yards, pacing that Spartan ground attack. Spartan quarterback Peyton Thorne, 27 of 42, 298 yards to go along with 2 scores. Keon Coleman collected his third 100-yard receiving game of the season with 8 catches for 107 yards, while Mr. Jaden Reed had 4 receptions for 52 yards. For the Spartans, Mel Tucker and company, here's the formula. You have to beat Penn State come Saturday afternoon to become bowl eligible. Mel Tucker saying after that disappointing Spartan loss that this team understands adversity. They've responded during what has been a challenging season, so we shall see. The Penn State Nittany Lions, 9-2 overall, 6-2 in conference play. That will be a 4 o'clock kick come Saturday, and of course you'll hear that right here on WJR. Meanwhile, yes, the Michigan football Wolverines had their hands full with the Fighting Illini of Illinois, but it was the best kicker in the country, saving them. Jake Moody, with 9 seconds left, he kicks a 35-yarder, 19-17 the final. The Wolverines win. Now that sets up the collision course that will take place in Columbus, Ohio. The Ohio State Buckeyes, they had their hands full in College Park against the Terrapins of Maryland, but Ohio State pulls away 43-30. So once again, Ohio State and Michigan will face each other. It'll be the battle of the undefeateds. 12 noon in Columbus on Saturday. Right now, the Buckeyes are favored by 7.5. Yeah, your Detroit Lions. Let's talk about them, huh? End this thing on an upbeat note. The Lions, underdogs to the New York Football Giants, and what do? They shocked the world. Jamal Williams ran for a career-high 3 touchdowns, and the Lions stunned the Giants 31-18, posting consecutive road wins and their first 3-game winning streak since November of 2017. Remember, This Lions team, 3-13-1 a year ago. They already have one more win than they did all of last year. I think probably the most impressive part of the Lions' victory yesterday, the way they were able to shut down Saquon Barkley, the league's foremost rusher. He had 22 yards on 15 carries. And let's not forget about Aiden Hutchinson, the fine rookie, adding to his beautiful resume. He picked off a pass and recovered a fumble to set up 14 points. Jared Goff and the Lions offense didn't have a turnover for the second straight game. Goff, by the way, 17 of 26, 165 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown was 7 receptions for 76 yards. Lions, by the way, gained 163 yards rushing, led by Justin Jackson, 66 yards, and the aforementioned Jamal Williams had 64. Up next for your Detroit Lions, the annual Thanksgiving Day game. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic, as we were discussing on the program Friday, fellas. The Bills beat the Browns at Ford Field because of the 180 feet of snow or whatever in Buffalo, 31-23 the final. The Bills have opted to go back to Buffalo as opposed to hanging out in the D, because they will be back at Ford Field to face the Lions for the Thanksgiving Day game. Bills, by the way, favored by 9.5. Should the Lions put it together and knock off Bills Nation, it's going to be just pandemonium. There's no question about it. This update, my friends, brought to you by our good friends at Bill Brown Ford. Go see my good friend Matt Garco and the hardworking team at Bill Brown Ford, located right around the block from me here in what is now a sunny Livonia. Bill Brown has been supporting and giving back to the community for well over 100 years. Get your next vehicle from Bill Brown Ford. Visit BillBrownFord.com. Tom, Chris?
Hey, Stevie, I got two things out of that Lions game yesterday. Defensively, this team seems to have found something, whether it's Kirby Joseph on the back end, obviously, and Hutchinson coming along really nicely as well. But offensively, how about Justin Jackson? 9 carries, 66 yards. And look, I know Jamal Williams is going to get all the credit because he had 3 scores. But Justin Jackson came in and filled a little bit of the hole that Swift just hasn't been able to occupy all year. That was a nice performance by Justin Jackson.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And in the very emphatic post-game celebration, Dan Campbell, for all the right reasons, was in a very celebratory mood, and he focused on the play of the defense. Obviously, this Lions D has been much maligned throughout this year, but they were able to get the job done yesterday against all odds, by the way, in New York, against a team that had been one of the hosts of the league, that being the football Giants, going in 7-2. I thought the fellow that really caught my attention was Aleem McNeil.
Yeah.
He had 4 total tackles, 3 of which were solo, put some pressure on the quarterback, had a sack, as a matter of fact, and had a pass deflected. So, this Lions defense, and all the credit in the world goes to defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, you guys, because, look, he's been through it. He stuck to the fight. Now, listen, it's very important that the Lions on Thanksgiving Day represent themselves well. If they're able to get a win, as I said, it's going to be absolute craziness in this town. But represent yourselves. And, are you a believer right now with this Lions team having won 3 in a row, coming off the funk of the losing streak? We'll see. I think it's just a darn good thing that we're able to take this all in for the moment.
I'm with you. I think it's a darn good thing. Am I a believer yet? No. I think maybe after Thanksgiving, if they win that game, I will become a believer. We appreciate you very much, WJR sports analyst Steve Courtney. Thank you, Steve. 760 WJR.
All right, Tom, Chris.
Hi, I'm Joe, and this is my wife.
I only trust the guys with my home.
You'd think that would have bothered me. Maybe a little jealous, but no. Since my wife found the InsideOutsideGuys.com, I get to golf more, hunt more, and I get to spend more time with my beautiful wife and kids.
Aww.
A sincere thank you to the Inside Outside Guys.
For housing information you can trust, listen Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. or 24/7 at the InsideOutsideGuys.com.
The Inside Outside Guys are brought to you in part by CNC Heating and Air Conditioning.
Now that the cold weather is here, you and your furnace are going to be best friends. Until you get the bill. It's Dana from CNC Heating and Air Conditioning. As one of Michigan's largest and most trusted heating and cooling companies, we recommend getting a yearly furnace tune-up, or if needed, a new high-efficient Carrier furnace. We can save you money, whether through energy rebates or just mentioning the inside-outside guys. To schedule your furnace tune-up, visit cncheat.com. That's cncheat.com. Carrier, turn to the experts.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Come and experience the magic of Christmas in Frankenmuth this holiday season. Rock around the 40-foot Christmas tree at the Visitor Center as it comes to life with a light and music show. Tighten up your skates for a lap around Frankenmuth's ice rink, located in the heart of downtown. Start your holiday shopping and find unique presents for everyone on your list this Christmas in one of Frankenmuth's locally owned shops and boutiques. There's no place like Frankenmuth for the holidays. For a complete list of details and events, visit frankenmuth.org or call 1-800-FUNTOWN today.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Dell's Black Friday event starts now with up to $400 off on select XPS and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus special pricing on accessories and free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
94 eastbound after North River Road. Accident in Macomb is clear. Eastbound 94 at Huron Street. Accident continues to block your left two lanes. A 30-minute delay from Michigan Avenue. And 75 southbound at 8 Mile. Accident off to the shoulder. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Sunshine mixing in with the clouds out there today and windy with strong gusty southwest winds at times. Between 20 and 30 miles per hour as we head into it through this afternoon. High 42, mid-20s tonight. Early clouds tomorrow. Sunshine mixing in through the afternoon. Less wind, mid-40s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ken Boone on Newstalk 760 WJR.
Welcome back to more of All Talk with Tom Jordan and Kevin Dietz, with Chris Renwick filling in for Kevin. It's WJR and the Chilani Family Foundation's annual Hunger Free in the D, the charity for the food insecure in and around Detroit that has already served millions of dollars in nutritious meals to your neighbors in need. Let's make it even bigger this year. Call 855-315-FOOD, 855-315-3663, or go to the website, hungerfreeinthed.com. Once again, live from Palazzo Di Bacci in Lake Orion, Tom Jordan and Chris Renwick.
And welcome back to the program. Thanks for listening. Nice to have you. We're going to take your text today. It's 800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR. We've been talking about a few different issues today. One of them happened to be about Senator Gary Peters. He's getting a lot of credit, Chris, for basically uniting the Democratic Party, at least in the Senate side of things, and allowing them to retain power. In fact, they'll probably gain a seat, depending on Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock in Georgia. They get the runoff on December the 6th. So whatever happens there, they might actually fare better than they had prior to the election. And, you know, the wins were not in their favor. When you look at the economy, you look at inflation, you look at some things that people really care about. But Gary Peters was really able, leading this committee, to fundraise for the senators and get that ground game going, spending $60 million on the ground game alone, then about almost $60 million on advertising to get people united around the Democratic Party.
And you really saw those efforts by the Democratic Senate fundraising committee when it came to the John Fetterman race and Mehmet Oz race in Pennsylvania. That was seat that the Democrats were able to flip, and certainly was instrumental in them retaining control in the Senate.
Yes.
And again, I mean, I think that a lot of the issues that these politicians bring up, I think it comes back to the voters in a lot of cases. I don't really care how much money these politicians raise or spend. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to you, and you're the one that has to decide what morals are important to you, where you think a lot of this should stand, and at the end of the day, it falls on the voters.
The reason why money matters, because
ask Tudor Dixon if money matters.
Money matters because it's all about messaging and who gets the messages out first. And that's what the Democrats were really able to do successfully. They were effectively, I still maintain this was a major reason why they won so many seats in the House and so many seats in the Senate, because they were able to go out there and label Republicans as a demonstrable threat to democracy.
Yes.
And they are dangerous. Joe Biden was saying this as much. You got Gary Peters, who is considered a moderate, saying as much, that Republicans are dangerous. You have Nancy Pelosi doing that. You have Gretchen Whitmer. They were unified on this platform that if you elect Republicans, you are going to kill democracy in this country. Enough people believed that lie, and I'll call it a lie because it's absolutely untrue. I mean, look at them. They said, listen, if they lose, they're not going to, walk away from this fight. They're going to keep running, and they're never going to back down, and they're not going to congratulate the victor. Well, no, they all did. All the Republicans, I think Kerry Lake is the only one right now who's still saying, listen, there was enough questions about the Arizona election. Put her aside. Every other Republican in these races that they call these far-right extremists who are for violence and attacking the government, and they're election deniers. They're going to deny the outcome of it. They all stepped down. None of what they claimed was going to happen happened. And to me, that's just more validation that this was a message that was put out there because of these tens of millions of dollars that simply wasn't true.
And would you look at that? The Republicans won control of the House, and there aren't fireballs falling from the sky.
No. In fact, Joe Biden, who was one of the most offensive in his messaging, in his remarks, he's like, hey, I'm looking forward to working with my Republican counterparts. Hey, maybe it was all about the election. Who knows? Maybe it was all about a kind of a ruse to get these people so afraid of these nasty Republicans so that Democrats can remain in power and can continue this track that we're on with a high inflation, an economy that is floundering, no matter what some of these Democratic economists will say. You talk to family by family, household by household. You look at their personal budgets, their personal economies, and they are suffering from inflation in their household. Mom and dad or single parents, doesn't matter if you're black or white, whatever your race, whatever your demographic, there is a significant decrease in how far your money is going inside your own house.
800-859-0957, 800-859-0WJR if you want to send in a text. I know we've gotten some action on the text line. What do you got, Laura?
We do. Speaking about Gary Peters, Richard and Flint said Gary Peters is a moderate. He voted for every single Pelosi Schumer dumbbell thing.
Yeah, he's not a moderate. That was my point. He votes party line. He is a partisan. So he was adamantly supporting John Fetterman. John Fetterman is, before the stroke, take the whole stroke issue out of the picture, out of the dialogue on that, out of the discussion. He is admittedly a far left progressive candidate. He is not mainstream. He's not moderate. But these moderate members of the Senate or the House or the party of the Democratic Party, they supported him 100%. And I just think that message, that's what I was saying earlier, that Republicans were not doing the same thing.
No.
But Republicans were not supporting candidates that they did not think were good candidates.
Correct.
Some Republicans were, but the party itself, listen, there's a split because we have a different ideology. It was not party over the candidate. In the Democrat world, it was all about party,
stick together,
all about staying in power, no matter what these candidates stood for. We're going to get them in, even though we know their policies are going to make life more difficult for the average American or average Michigander. More text?
We do have another text from Daryl in Detroit. It says, Tom and Chris, your views on the extreme right and left is ridiculous. Have any of you put party over coincidence as it relates to Donald Trump? And again, what have far-right candidates embraced? Violence, overthrowing the government, and acceptance of racism? I think what occurred is a lot of decent people saw what the Republicans stand for and allow. You tell me how you have some factions of the party still trying to gloss over the violence of January 6th. It is absurd to try to compare what the far right versus the far left. If I were new to this country and trying to determine what party I would join based on the actions and words I have witnessed, it would be the Democrats.
Okay, here's my response. First of all, the January 6th comment. I will tell you flat out, the Republicans have not glossed over January 6th. I would say 99% of Republicans thought that was a horrendous day in our country. And they came out right away and said it. There were a few that wouldn't. Donald Trump took too long to address this issue on that day.
And if you were watching the January 6th select committee hearings,
right,
you would know how many of those Republicans who you say were glossing it over were actually imploring, pleading with the president to say something to stop this.
Yes, and not only that, they were also imploring and pleading at Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to get more security because they knew ahead of time that there were some rumblings that the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, they were planning something that might be a little bit too much for us to handle. So, first of all, that is a misrepresentation. This is what I talk about, the money going towards messaging, because this person who just wrote that text seems to believe CNN and MSNBC and their whole Democratic take on Republicans and how they view January 6th. That's incorrect. Second of all, Republicans, part of the platform is against racism. They are absolutely for freedom and liberty for every individual in this country, regardless of your race, regardless of your religion, regardless of your demographic or how much money you make. You should all be having the equal opportunity to pursue happiness. That's the Republican platform. And that's, if you talk to Republicans in an honest way, the vast majority of them believe that. The Democrat Party has a history of racism. And so if you want to go that route, you can try, but history doesn't support you.
No, I would agree. Sounds pretty good to me.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. And remember, this is a big day. We want you to help how you can to donate Hunger Free in the D. It's hungerfreeinthed.com, hungerfreeinthed.com, or call 855-315-FOOD. We appreciate you listening. Fox News is coming up next, followed by Dan Bongino. This is 760 WJR.
The time has come to announce Dream Vacation number 7 in